Jasper.
Ayo, Babs, this shit crazy.
schmeiße noch ne Pille und du bockst nicht. Ich glaub nicht, dass es jemals für mich eine Chance gibt. Ich glaub nicht, dass ich dein Gesicht aus meinem Kopf krieg. Hinter mir, ich höre Mackie G. Fuck, ich hab mein Flieger verpennt. Ich bin fast ich trinke mich in Remedy. Mittlerweile denk ich wirklich, dass ich es verdiene. Fuck mich ab, ich will nur lila Racks. Ja, du bist toxisch wie die Pest. Neben mich kann nichts erkennen. Ich geh hoch, doch diese Aussicht macht mich rastlos. Sie hat keine Ahnung. Ich glaub, ich verspiele meine Tarnung. Verliere ich mein Tempo oder bleib ich kein Video-Tour? Ja, ihre Reaction ist so random. Gefühle sind es Pflicht. Never mind, a cure for wellness bringt mich back. Ihre ist toxisch, ich schmeiße noch ne Pille und du bockst nicht. Ich glaub nicht, dass es jemals für mich eine Chance gibt. Ich glaub nicht, dass ich dein Gesicht aus meinem Kopf krieg. Hinter mir, ich höre Mackie G. Fuck, ich hab mein Flieger verpennt. Ich bin fast ich trinke mich in Remedy. Mittlerweile denk ich wirklich, dass ich es verdiene.
Techno.
Jasper.
Techno.
Jasper. Jasper. Jasper.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, welcome to the official Royals League solo circuit. I do hope everyone is doing well tonight. How are we all feeling in chat? Let's get some poggers whenever you get that message. Let's go ahead and kick this right. As I just stated, welcome. We've done it. We're here. We're starting. This is the Royals League official solo circuit tournament that will be casted by your boy SPOOG.
As well as me, the glorified Ward.
Let's just take a moment to let this sink in. We've come a very long way. Before we even begin, I want to appreciate, or take a moment to appreciate and thank anyone that has participated in any of the public events for custom lobbies that we have, hosted, and anyone that has done anything with the community. This would not be possible if not for the hard work and effort of all of us collectively as a unit. Before we get the game started, however, I did want to take a segment to actually talk about the game Royal Crown in general for any of the newcomers recently. Royal Crown is a very unique game. It is considered a BR, but it's a bit of a blend between BR, MOBA, and a little bit of MMO aspects. Glorified, how would you describe Royal Crown?
So it's a MOBA style game when it comes to the micro play. So not a macro MOBA. It's not two bases with two teams going to fight each other. It is a series of champions where you as a player get to decide, okay, do I want to be a tank? Do I want to be an ADC? Do I want to be an assassin? And then you enter a battle royale game mode. So like PUBG, like Fortnite, and you use your abilities, QWER, like anybody who is familiar with League, to fight to make it to the last circle. And in this case, also potentially earn some crazy winnings.
It's a very unique game. It's very, very unique. I personally have played a lot of games. Many of you that know me know that I've come from a very, very intricate background of gaming, and this particular game has a lot of potential to potentially be the next thing in esports gaming. So
when I look for esports, I look for things that this game has, and I'm so excited to get this event off the ground and to have more events in the future. So thank you for having me, and yeah, let's get into talking about it.
Yes, thank you for joining me tonight, Glorified. Let's go ahead and just take a little segment to evaluate, what we're doing, the point system, the rules. Join me on this panel. We're going to switch this on over here. The rules are simplistic. I don't really have to go too far into that, but this is something that many of you will likely be very curious about. Obviously, the game mode is solos. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a circuit, meaning it is 4 games total that we will be doing for this tournament. The point system will be as follows. First place, 10 points. Second to 5th place, 7 points, etc. I assume most of us here can read. And the prizes. This is where it gets very interesting. We got some money on the line tonight, Glorified.
I heard. It's so exciting.
We have some money on the line, and Line Games has ever so gracefully endorsed this tournament as well. So you will also be receiving diamonds on top of a well-endowed cash prize. So I'm excited, Glorified.
I'm excited too, and I think that we have to take a moment to explain to the audience what a victory royale really means compared to what winning this tournament means, because we've talked about this in some of the streams before, but just because you come in first place every game doesn't mean you're actually going to win. So what do you need to do to win this tournament?
That's a very good question. What we've seen many times in the past in our custom lobbies, for those that are aware of those and or have seen any VODs, honestly, the meta has been slowly shifting ever so slightly every single time. People are finding new ways to adapt. We are seeing new champions be brought into the field. What we're likely going to see nowadays is a more uptight but professional style of play. People will not be scared to engage in fights. However, we could potentially see a lot more passiveness depending on the particular champion.
So another great thing about this style of game is that one person deciding to bush camp means nothing for the excitement of the rest of the game because you are your own team. So just because you decide to play passive doesn't mean we're going to have plenty to talk about. As a matter of fact, we've run into the problem where there are just so many fights going on that it's hard for us to keep up with the most exciting action. So no matter what, at a certain point in these games, it gets to a point where it is just non-stop action. No matter how much people like to say, oh, there's going to be a bush camping meta. Yeah, maybe for some people, but not for a lot of the big names. What do you think about the big names for today? Who are you really keeping your eye out on?
Honestly, it's really hit or miss. We have a lot of hard hitters today, and quite frankly, we could potentially see some new names. When money is on the line, a different form of competitiveness comes out of the individual. But as we have seen in previous custom lobbies, iLooker, Marshed, Zasha are all really big names to look out for. However, on the flip side, Hydrocide really showing us that Eden is a viable character in solos. But I don't want to just name drop a couple people. Everyone in this lobby that I can see right now has shown their stuff to some extent.
I look through this list of amazing players and I just think about all of the salt that I have had to endure getting smacked around by these players in custom lobbies, in matchmaking. I mean, I recognize so many of these names, and these are players that you just, at least me, I just can't mess with. So seeing them all in a highly populated lobby where they're going to be fighting tooth and nail for loot that maybe in some matchmaking games is just taken for granted. Something again that people should understand is that a huge part of this game comes from farming, and you don't farm in ways that you do in other standard BR games where your gear makes you who you are. In this game, your gear really is similar to League of Legends gear, where you might buy armor that increases your stats, and you have to do that in this game by finding the components around the map. So people are going to be moving around the map to find what they need to get the edge in the battles that come at the 7-minute mark, 10-minute mark, 12-minute mark. So, what do you have to add in terms of what players need to do to get to a point where they're ready to win?
I believe players need to be prepared for essentially anything. As we have said numerous times in countless custom lobbies, a stacked lobby is an entirely different playstyle. There is only so many things that we can expect to happen in the last few zones, but when you have this amount of sweat and utilization for utility and everything else that comes with the game, we could potentially see again something that we have yet to see, and me saying doing specific things to get to the final zone may not even be applicable. So I'm very, very excited to see what we have in store today. I will leave the rules and prizes section up for now. Obviously, moving forward, we will adjust it as time goes on. But I do want to let this sit up as long as possible, just so there is no confusion as to how you are getting your points applicably. Glorified, I did want to ask you before we kick things off, how you feeling?
I could not feel more excited. I mean, this has every feeling of a budding esport, of, a really great tight-knit community. And how often do you get into a situation where you get to see people that you've talked to, that you sort of know, all competing with the best players in an up-and-coming esport? Because like I've been saying over and over again, the competitive potential, the entertainment potential, it's so crazy for games like this, and BR MOBAs just don't exist in a way that they should. And I think that this groundbreaking game is going to be a new esport as you can tell, I'm just very excited. How are you feeling about it?
I have been ecstatic ever since we even made mention that Royals League was going to potentially be something that we were creating. I have always been passionate about competitive gaming, and now being able to have my hands fully submerged in something that we all created together is no short of euphoric.
It really is a euphoric feeling. The pangs of excitement are just rushing over me, and I can't wait to get into these games and see some crazy consumable plays, some crazy outplays. I mean, we got a taste of some amazing outplays early on with some Kaiba versus Kaibas, with the underdog coming on top. So expect some interesting mirror matchups potentially, and expect a bunch of really crazy outplays. I'm super excited.
I'm definitely super excited as well. We are still waiting for the lobby to fill up. I do believe we have a few open spots for potential fillers. So definitely reach out to the appropriate channels for that. Super Future is taking the reins on that. I did want to take a moment to briefly just talk about the growth that we have made within this community as a whole, not just in NA, but for the game in general. This has been one of the most happy times that I can remember in the last few decades of gaming. This is such a humble environment that we have created. And I want to reach out again and say thank you to everyone that is currently tuning in, as well as Glorified for joining me on the panel tonight. Glorified, what do you really feel that this community is bringing to the table?
So this community has been so great. I was able to learn the game so fast because people are willing to hop in the Discord, right onto voice chat, and tell you everything that you're doing wrong. Games like this have so much nuance to them. How do you farm? How do you fight? What makes one consumable better than another for one situation versus another? These are things that can take months and months to figure out, but this community is so tight-knit that everybody just makes sure that if you're a new player, you know what to do to not be tearing your hair out. So again, to see those kinds of people really, I mean, I almost hate to use the word wholesome, but there's almost no other way to put it. A really wholesome community coming together for a great competitive event. Not only are we going to see some crazy flames, some crazy salt, but at the end of the day, everybody's really just trying to create a meta, because the meta doesn't really exist yet. You know, this event is going to forge a meta that we can guess about, but we're not going to know until it happens. And that's what's exciting about this community. That's what's exciting about this event. And so again, like, excitement is an understatement.
I definitely agree. This community has shown its entirety for being able to come together, and being able to be a part of something, you know, this unique has never been anything less than great. Right? Like everything that we have managed to do as a unit, it's just compounded. You know, this essentially was a pipe dream when we first initially started, right? We essentially just started, you know, begging for custom lobbies. We were trying to sync queues. We were doing things like bait queuing, which is just queuing a random mobile, you know, account into a lobby, and then everybody would just queue up immediately after that. And then, you know, Line Games finally added the custom mode section, and then from there it just started growing and growing and growing and growing. And this has just been a crazy overall experience as a whole.
Because, you know, you think about joining larger games like PUBG and League of Legends, and those are great games that I really, really enjoy to play. But this community is in a stage right now where you can be relatively new. You can feel relatively new. And a few weeks away from now, with a little bit of grinding and a little bit of attention, you can be a big part of the community, because everything is still growing. The community has doubled in the last month, but it's not at a point now where all of the major roles in the community have been filled. There's still so much for people to do, even if they're just tuning in now having no idea what this game is.
Right. I definitely agree. This game is, you know, unique in a sense to where you don't necessarily need to have a vast experience with these types of games. Yes, it does help if you've played other MOBAs such as League of Legends and or Dota, and yes, it does help to be familiar with, you know, the BR aspect, but this game is extremely easy to get into, and honestly, I have seen some relatively decent individuals who has never played a video game like this come out on top still.
Yeah, and that's what I am just really hoping for this game. This game scratches an itch that so many BRs do not, and so many MOBAs do not. You know, the games aren't so long where you feel like once you start losing, you are going to be tearing your hair out for the next half an hour. One thing that you can look at it a couple ways is like, if you begin losing in a solos match, it's fine because you can just queue up for the next one. It's not like the League of Legends situation where we're going to be trapped in a bad game for 45 minutes. And again, when it comes to the competitive potential, on top of the fact that it's just so easy to grind, I mean, competitive play, esports, it's all going to flourish, and you get to see the beginning of it right here. That's what's exciting to me.
I definitely agree. This is going to be a great night indeed. We are almost at our quota for the lobby. I do hope that everyone is ready to see some extremely high tier gameplay. If you want, now would be the time to get your drinks, get your snacks, and be ready to buckle down, because when we start, it is going to take off.
Yeah, and it's really, really going to take off once it starts, because like we've said, there might be a small lull in the action right as everybody is dropping. But as soon as the combat starts, it's going to continue all over the map. We're going to have fights going on at Kobolds. We're going to have fights going on at the opposite end of everything. Sure, a few people might be sitting in a bush, but they are going to have their time as well at the third party, fourth party, fifth party. I mean, we saw some sixth parties yesterday. So again, the gameplay itself is just so easy to become so excited, so enthralling that, again, it's just, you are in for a treat on this stream. I am in for a treat myself getting to see this gameplay.
I'm definitely extremely excited to be able to cast this top tier gameplay. One thing I want to ask you, Glorified, just for the people. People know my background. I actually want to take a brief moment to allow you to fully introduce yourself and what your background is and has been leading up into this point. What's your experience thus far with shoutcasting?
Yeah, so I produce podcasts as a job. I will go to a company that is maybe struggling to build relationships with their clients and with their customers, and I will help them sort of extend content to people who want to hear about what they have to say. And so that is why I've been blessed with a lot of the equipment that I have. It's because it's also relevant to what I do on a day-to-day basis. Now, once I'm done producing podcasts, I just love to sit down at my computer and start playing some League, start playing some PUBG, and I was just looking for a mix between the two games.
Right.
I found this one, and it's been my game of choice ever since. So, you know, with some acting background from my earlier days, as well as my just raw interest in game design and in playing games, shoutcasting is the kind of thing that I just feel like I was born to do, and I love doing it.
That's definitely amazing that you found this game in such a very interesting way, and quite frankly, I'm very thankful to have met you, as solo shoutcasting is an extremely difficult task, to say the least. We are almost full here in this lobby. I do appreciate everyone's patience thus far with allowing us to collaborate this. I do know that, you know, this is the first time that we are doing this, so we expect a few hiccups along the way. Now, to bring something up while we're waiting for the lobby to fill, what we were seeing in last night's scrims was very interesting. We actually saw an Audrey potentially pull the most risky strat I think I've ever seen in our custom lobbies, which would essentially be a full-blown heal off in the zone. Glorified, do you believe that we will see that here tonight?
I think that there are enough players playing right now, not confident in the win, but confident in the cheese. I think a couple kills off of an Audrey early, which honestly we've seen, it's not outrageous, transitioning into a full heal build, going crazy with the consumables for mana crystals to get off that stasis effect. I really do think we're going to see it again, because to my shock, it seemed viable. They were standing in the zone for at least 2 minutes, and I was speechless. I had no idea what to say. How do you cast it? Mana potion, heal, heal, heal. It was insane, and I would be disappointed to not see someone at least try it. Although, again, it's like, should the zone be reducing healing received? You know, how would you patch that if it becomes a part of the meta where if you don't kill every Audrey early, you instead have to out heal them at the final circle? How do you deal with that?
That is something that I am very curious as to what would be the essential counter for that. I think getting an early lockdown on Audreys may be more applicable than just allowing them to survive now that people are aware that that type of strat is possible. But it looks like we have filled up the lobby, and we will now be beginning the game here shortly. I do want to take a brief moment to allow others to go to our website, and feel free to check that out, royalsleague.com. You will find all the information that we have here posted, as well as different sections, guides. You can see different tournaments that we have planned. Highly recommend you do so. We will be having a squads tournament here, not next week but the following. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Very excited.
Yeah, it's looking really great. Solos is exciting enough on its own, and squads just adds a whole new element that, again, when we're talking esports potential, that's where it's going to lie.
Absolutely. This is very interesting. It appears as though we have a little bit of technical difficulties with the custom lobby. I'm not sure. Oh, no. I'm not sure what just happened with the lobby. We may potentially have to remake the lobby. Thankfully, the game did not start, and it happened at the very beginning. But man, this is extremely weird. This is to be expected, though. You got to work the kinks out early.
Yeah, you know, custom games is a relatively new thing that they added in. I mean, not super new, but relatively new. It is still in beta, and they make sure to make a note of that. So these things are expected to happen, but we'll be getting it up and going in no time.
Absolutely. We will take a brief moment of silence just to allow things to simmer down. We will be getting this new lobby up here shortly. I will leave, again, the rules and prizes up on the screen for now, but maybe not as long in the future, for we will have things to actually talk about. Glorified, feel free to take a brief moment to yourself, and we will be right back. All right, and just like that, we are ready to kick off the lobby. I again do apologize for the delay, but we are finally here. Glorified, we are about to see what it's going to be like to be fighting for that prize.
Yeah, as interesting as server outplays are, I'm interested to see what the players can do when the server behaves itself.
Very true. That obviously games cannot be perfect. It's impossible for it to be. But with that being said, we do indeed have a fully stacked lobby, and already we are seeing some picks that I may not have been expecting. We do see a Chow, a couple Nevas, Edens, love to see it.
And of course, the mirror upon mirror upon mirror of Kaiba. We are seeing 4 Kaibas. I have a feeling that that might be the largest number of mirror matchups we will get in this particular match. Although if Kaiba does well enough, we might see more next time.
That is very true. Kaiba, in my opinion, has been so strong. I personally do not feel as though he needed his most recent buff. But hey, I guess we'll take what gains we can get. Let's take a brief moment to commentate at the fact that we have 2 ballistas in this game right now. I believe Ballista is probably the least played champion in this game. Glorified, what do you feel this is going to do to this current lobby?
So I think that Ballista is a pretty risky pick, especially when it comes to early engagements. However, if these Ballistas are able to play their cards right and make it to the final circle, we're going to have a situation where the zoning is going to be insane. It would be beneficial to the entire lobby to make sure that those Ballistas are taken out early, and I'm sure plenty of people will jump on those opportunities. People tend to hate Ballistas. They have the similar functionality to Heimerdinger for anybody who is familiar with League of Legends, which is just to say that she puts down little turrets that attack for her. Very interesting champion concept, but boy, it can be annoying to go against, and it can be difficult to play.
I definitely agree. It really takes some mechanical maneuver to really utilize Ballista's effectiveness in a battle, let alone it being a solo battle. Now, for all the newcomers, we will not be transitioning our POV until all players in the lobby are level 2 to avoid potential disconnects, which we are indeed. And off rip, Volpe getting completely chased down here by Inked on the Neva. Volpe trying to do everything in his power to get away. He is below half HP, able to pop the shield and the heal. Ink missing the E for the slow. Volpe is now running.
I respect that Inked is looking for an early kill here, but he's just setting up a potential third party for Zasha, and instead Zasha might be getting the first kill of this match. How unfortunate for Inked to be setting it up for Zasha to get a first kill. That is not something you want to hand to Zasha. That
is not something you want to hand to him at all, especially on the Korik. That was extremely unfortunate for Inked, essentially setting up that freebie for Zasha to come in and take that kill.
I've said it once and I'll say it again right now. Do not take a fight level 2. You are putting yourself behind and you're only opening up the opportunity for somebody to take that kill from you.
Absolutely. This should be a lesson to be learned for everyone watching. There is a time and there is a place to take a fight. Speaking of taking a fight, Sea Monster and Idol getting into an exchange here. Big stun from Sea Monster onto Idol into the wall, getting Idol below half health. He tries to drop the turrets. He will have to TP through the building. He should be able to escape. Very risky stuff from Idol.
Yeah, again, this is what we're talking about, where Ballistas don't want to be taking these early fights. It's difficult for them to go against something like a Kaiba, who is built to be fighting once they're level 3.
Definitely agree. Kaiba's early game potential is out of this world. So is Chow's. However, this particular Chow is not having a good time. Weevil getting extremely low by Mars, showing Violet's burst capability, missing the chain, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. Weevil will drop.
So I understand the decision to dive a Violet as Chow. You know, you think, okay, Marsh here is a level 5 assassin. that shouldn't be high potential for the Violet. Yet, no items, although that's actually not true. Deceptively high number of items. Marsh having a legendary already. I don't know if that happened before the fight.
I'm not entirely sure, but what is happening right now, 30-Day and Inked are getting into a huge exchange. A big TP earlier from 30-Day Band to dodge, I believe, Inked's ultimate there. They are both below 25% HP. Chain coming out of 30-Day trying to lock Ink down. Ink throwing the Q, will get tick damage, will go for the flash W, and manages to clean 30-Day up.
So this is exactly what the Chow was trying to do. You know, you see an early level Violet, and that should be easy pickings. And Inked, luckily, is able to make it, unlike the Chow before.
Inked was able to take that kill, and unfortunately, I do believe Tactical did drop by Zasha, but now Zasha is on the full sprint away from Sea Monster, as he is below 75%.
Now, Korik's very, very fast, and it's going to be hard for Sea Monster to catch up to such a great player as Zasha, except he's mining now, which means that Zasha is going in for a combo.
At the same time, Blanky and Ilooker are getting into an exchange of their own, but Sea Monster has to pop ultimate. Kizuko is putting down a lot of damage. Double ultimate from both of them coming down. Sea Monster forced to TP away. Totem, log combination coming out from Kizuko. Kizuko will be able to secure that kill.
Again, the third parties and the fourth parties, you have to be so careful about fighting.
Absolutely. This has been an entirely crazy game. Seiwari getting into an exchange with Shinigami. Boxing out the teleport down in Coral Ruins. I know that these teleporters can be a very hot spot to be around. You never know when a character will pop in. Marsh is low health as well. We'll be able to get a little bit of Pap, but he has to be careful. Altair coming in on the Morgan with the skin difference. This could be it for Marsh, but he has a beautiful stun trap to disengage.
So not only is Marsh sort of deceptive with the items he has right now, he's classified as a green-tiered champion, which suggests that he might not have very many items, but he does have blues and golds, so he is in a better position than it seems.
Definitely in a better position. Seiwari actually able to lock down that kill on Blanky, having a nice ultimate, following that up with a E combo, completely popping him like a balloon. Back to Marsh. He's actually been forced out of Papu, the Pap location, and what's this? Oh, I do believe Saram is going to back off. I did think that he was being chased down there briefly. Hydrocide getting into a little bit of a dance off here himself. But man, Zasha going back in on Shinigami. This is not looking good for him. Trying to run away as the Morgan will get completely cut off by Kizuko. What a KS from Kizuko. Wow.
Zasha had his chance to KS, and now he has been KS'd himself. It really does only seem justified. But Marsh going down.
That is extremely unfortunate. A little bit of karma there for Zasha managing to secure a third-party kill. And then it ironically happens to him. A little bit of poetic justice happening in this lobby.
Absolutely, and I think just like that, the Violets have been taken out, and that sort of just goes to show that when you do not get your Violet fully leveled, fully itemed, it's going to be hard to last in a 30-man lobby because everybody's going to be gunning for you.
I definitely
and
agree.
No healing.
Arranged and Dread getting into a huge exchange. They have to be careful. Idol is nearby for the third party as well as Inked, but Arranged does not want to let up. Dread forced to mount up. Arranged may just give up on this kill as he realizes that there are a ton of people in the Minor Tavern area.
So I'm not sure if Arranged has been involved in a third party yet, but he definitely understands that taking a fight right now is risky, especially in a city with so many players around it.
I definitely agree. Altair actually getting Sandro about half health. He is right on top of him here. Sandro trying to throw the volatile bombs down to get a little bit of distance, managing to do so. Will be able to dash out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Morgan is really good at chasing people down, but no, he decides it's not worth it.
Well, also, Sandro utilizing the volatile bombs to get away when he didn't have his TP powder. And we talked about that yesterday, and that's exactly the kind of thing that you're going to have to do if you want to be effective with your consumables.
Speaking of being effective with consumables, Hydrocide and Ink getting into a huge exchange here. Inked trying to TP the ultimate, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. Nice flash from Hydrocide to completely dodge the ultimate. Yes, he does. Managing to read that range on that ult very, very well. They will be able to pot up here. I believe Inked is now in a very tough spot. If he does not escape, Hydrocide is in a very good position to take this kill.
Eden has a ton of healing, a ton of sustain, and Neva does not. As much CC as she has, this is going to be tough.
This is going to be tough indeed. Big stun trap coming from Hydrocide, but unfortunately, the totem will take the brunt of that they will be able to back off and both heal up. Very risky stuff out of Inked. He needed to potentially get a little bit more distance in that. I don't think people are respecting Eden's burst capability.
That's what makes Eden such a great solo pick, is not only is the burst there, but the healing and the sustain is there also. And that's so important for solos.
I definitely agree. Eyelooker, however, is getting into an exchange with Idol. He is pieced up a bit. I do believe Idol popped ult there to get him off, but he has to be careful. Eyelooker is in such a good spot right now. Already has his legendary. Looking around, he may just be looking to hunt people right now.
You know, I think that when there's so much on the line here, with the map still so open, Eyelooker is going to be looking to get even more legendary items. He still has weapon, he still has chest, so he needs to track some of those things down before he can be really, really confident as Kaiba.
I definitely agree, but he is fully aware that Idol does not have ultimate now. He does have ult advantage. He will try to take this fight. Idol needs to be very careful. Big ultimate coming out of Eyelooker, but it does not connect. Unfortunately, now he is in a very tough position. Idol does hear that potion going off and decides to back it off.
I actually think that Idol might have parried that with the purification scroll.
That could be very true, and or one of his turrets actually hit the side of the ultimate, thus preventing him from being stunned. But just like that, Idol, it's not over for him yet. He is now being found by Sewori on the Neva, but they are getting pieced up entirely. 75% in a few seconds. This ballista's damage is insane.
It's hard to dive onto a ballista who's been preparing for a fight a little bit, because those turrets can come down and they stay. And you do not need to attack or be in range for those turrets to be attacking. So difficult to jump onto Idol in this situation. Definitely
agree. Whoever it was down there, I commend you for your efforts in trying to take Ballista solo with her turrets up. However, oh, look at that! Idol managing to clean up Sewori off screen. Oh my goodness.
Party. I believe Eyelooker was going after the Neva, and the Neva ran directly into Idol's turrets. It was sad to watch.
That is unfortunate. Talk about getting completely caught off guard. There are so many people down here by the Coral Forest. Ink forced to TP away from Sandro. At the same time, Bite Kicker is getting into an exchange of his own. This is pretty interesting stuff. ZB is actually playing Steppen, which he usually plays Alicia. This is getting insane. There are fights everywhere all over the map. Hard to cover. Arrange is below half health. Managed to get a pot up. Sarum trying to chase this down, but this may be able be very bad for him. Forced to pop the volatile bomb. Arrange will pop a volatile bomb to stay in range. We'll try to dash E to stay in range. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Another volatile bomb from Arrange to try to stay close, but I don't know if he catches this.
Yeah,
oh, beautiful TP! Beautiful TPE from Arrange. He's in range. Oh my goodness.
Off the dog to take down Elma. That's when you hate the fact that you have an extra unit attached to you.
Wonderful utilization of Leo's kit. Indeed, Leo's E does bounce off of, I believe, 2 objects, realizing that he was not in range to hit the Elma in general. However, he could bounce it off of the dog and get close enough to get that kill. Such a good play from Arrange.
What an amazing play. And just understanding how your champion works is so important, because not only will it bounce off of multiple targets, but it does more damage the more targets it's bounced off. It could have only killed him because of that extra 10% damage.
I definitely agree. This has been an insane game, and quite frankly, it is very difficult to cast all of this action. I cannot wait until the final few zones to see how crazy it gets.
I know, this has just been so crazy, and Arrange now stumbling upon the treasure goblin might be putting himself in a better situation.
That could very well be accurate. Arrange showing his stuff today. I'm very happy to see people that may not always participate in the custom lobbies be able to show out at an event. This treasure goblin will likely set him ahead with some sort of legendary of whatever drops, whether that be frost or fire.
It certainly will. Something to notice if you're a new player is that treasure goblins will always set you up to create either a legendary chest or a legendary weapon. And since Arrange has neither, he's guaranteed to get something that he's going to like.
Looks like he does manage to pick up the frozen ice orb, which will inevitably be turned into a chess piece of his choice so long as he gets the other materials. Hydrocide at the edge of the zone. a little bit of a tough spot here. He's in between Zasha and Ilooker. Zasha wants some of this smoke.
Yeah, we have not seen Zasha as much as you would expect today, and he's currently running away from Ilooker, understanding that he does not have the items, and he flashes in and spins to win. Is it going to be enough, though? This might be a bit of an engagement that continues on for a little bit.
Yeah, beautiful ultimates from both sides. Beautiful poison potion to counter, but Ilooker says no. That was a beautiful turnaround. Beautiful turnaround.
Expect Zasha to go down that early. Ilooker must be so happy to take care of that threat.
Zasha did everything in his power. He did have a nice turnaround, doing everything that he could to possibly secure that kill, but it was not enough. Ilooker is just too good on Kaiba.
Well, not to mention he has a legendary weapon and legendary gloves. So not only does he have more potential to grow in terms of legendaries, but he was already very powerful. And I don't think that Zasha had enough damage or enough tankiness to deal with it.
That is very true. ZB managing to run down someone here with these huge spears on Steppen. As anyone that may be familiar with Nidalee from League of Legends, it carries the same concept. The farther away the spear hits, the more damage it does. ZB is now on Ego. Ego is in a very tough spot. Third party coming in from Ink.
Yeah, Ego with his speed is going to be able to get away from this fight.
Inked has to be very careful. ZB will be able to land all the free damage. I don't know if Inked wants this fight. ZB is in a very good position to take a kill, but oh, wait a minute, what's this? Idol comes in for the third party, realizing that ZB is a threat and is trying to run him down.
Luckily, ZB has plenty of TP powder to be able to make it out of that situation, and as a champion with a dash, there's plenty of disengaged potential, but Idol, not having enough yet, he wants more.
And who else wants more range? Finding Ink low health. He is now volatile, bombing in the range for an E. Does not connect, but he's running straight into Hydroside's face, and Hydroside will be able to go for the KS. Big ultimate from Hydroside to follow up onto a range. This could potentially be a two-piece. A range has to be careful here. Big Q coming out of Hydroside. Hydroside showing us the devastation for Eden's burst potential.
And a range showing us he does not want any more of that just yet.
Absolutely, he will be able to back off and heal. He has to be very careful, though. ZB is right around the corner. He is definitely in a one-combo burst potential. Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of one-combo burst potential, Idol getting caught in between two people. This is very bad for him. ZB should be able to easily clean this kill up. He does.
This final circle is going to be insane. The caliber of players going at it here, it's been so crazy to watch so far.
Absolutely, it is going to be a testament to see whether or not we can keep up. There are 10 people still in this last zone. It is about to get extremely chaotic here in a few moments. Oh, big spear from Sandro onto ZB.
There are sometimes lobbies that only have 10 people in them. For this to be one of the final circles, and it's, almost a stacked lobby still, I mean, that's just crazy.
Definitely crazy. I'm very curious to see who's going to make the first move. However, with a zone this tight with this many individuals, it will inevitably turn into a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh party even with this tight of a zone.
I'm really happy to see ZB still standing here. He's kind of a dark horse pick for me. I think that ZB has a good chance at winning this, going after Ego now.
Very true. Arrange, however, does not have a good chance at winning this, as he is sandwiched between three individuals, Ilooker, Bykicker, and Sandro. They will be able to clean up Arrange, and that's all she wrote.
Ego right now getting into a fight with Kazuko. Not looking good for Ego at all. Under-leveled, underpowered.
Does pop the ultimate. He will get the freeze off. However, Sandro will be able to KS that kill due to the freeze proc of the ultimate.
Oh, that hurts because Kazuko worked so hard for that kill, and he does not get any credit for it in the point system.
That is very unfortunate. ZB trying to zone off pure idols here. Will be able to... Ooh, good mana crystal to dodge that spear, but it's not going to be enough. ZB will be able to secure that kill. He's trying to go for the KS, but it's not timed efficiently. ZB will be able to drop the food and heal up. Hydroside getting into a very big exchange with Ilooker. I don't know if it's going to be enough for him to survive. No, it's not. Ilooker will be able to clean up that kill effectively. This is now getting into a very, very tight circle. I'm very curious to see what happens.
We've got a lot of legendaries out on the field right now, and again, I'm feeling like ZB's in a really good situation, but Ilooker has proved to be dangerous, and now he is sitting in a bush. So we're going to see who he targets next.
This is definitely the passiveness that I was talking about earlier before we started the games. Who is going to make the first move? Everyone is shaking and baking, not wanting to make the first move because they do not want to get pounced on right after. Big spears coming out of ZB. ZB is in a very good position here. He can just chuck spears and not really full commit. Just like that, the fighting has begun. Quippy getting extremely low. ZB trying to TP over the wall. Kizuko now finds Quippy low held. Bike kicker tries to swipe it. He manages to do so. Kizuko, oh my god, big spear from ZB onto Kizuko, getting him below half HP. Big poison potion from bike kicker to try to secure that kill. No, Eyelooker takes that kill with his own stuff. Bike kicker getting extremely low now. ZB trying to take that kill away from Eyelooker. Eyelooker trying to TP over the wall to secure that kill. Sandro says no. Oh my god, Sandro for the big 2-piece special.
Sandro's going to have a hard time getting out of here. Well, he has TP powder, so that works. He doesn't have TP advantage anymore. ZB is going to easily clean him up. Wow! What a match.
What a first game.
Fight.
ZB coming out with 5 kills, 27,000 damage, really showing us the damage capacity of Steppen in solos. He was just throwing spear after spear after spear, connection, chunking people for 20 to 50% per spear. What a game from ZB.
Now, Bike Kicker on Leo didn't get too many kills this game, but I did notice that he was able to secure 1 kill in the final circle when he was a clear underdog. I think, given where he was in the setup, coming in 4th with that 1 kill, honestly, I think he did a very good job.
I definitely agree. Very well placed abilities from everyone in that last zone. It can get extremely chaotic for that tight of an area, and there's not much that you can do if you just so happen to be the first one to get picked down. But overall, great game from everyone.
Yeah, that was an amazing game. You can never know exactly what you're going to see, but so many great ballista plays, so many great sort of shows of force from these Edens. We're seeing the meta develop right in front of our eyes, and it's just so great to see Leos being thrown into this match and doing relatively well. It's great to see Zasha getting taken down because he's usually such a difficult player to fight in these kinds of matches. The fact that someone was able to catch him out was huge for the rest of the match because, again, he's like one of the top tier players. Taking him out of the final circle situation on Korik, that was huge.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Koriks tend to be a very, very, very devastating wrecking ball and almost raid boss like if they are allowed to be set up. But this is exactly what I was talking about. We're going to start seeing metas that we're not familiar with. We're going to see 3rd, 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th parties and a lot of KSing.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to follow people's different build paths, but at a certain point, it's going to get to a sort of meta where you're expecting that, Kaibas at the mid game are going to come across Koriks, are going to come across the Violets. If we were to take a little bit more time to track the way that people are pathing, we could probably guess what some of the mid-game fights were going to be. And I don't think we're quite there yet from a theoretical perspective. The meta really has to develop more. But, it's thinking about those sorts of things being a potential that really excites me about more events like this happening. And this just proves how exciting these events can be and how great this gameplay is. These players are amazing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Congratulations to ZB on that very well-deserved win. This is, again, I'm so happy to see characters that are not as utilized as, we have seen in our own lobbies and even some of our custom lobbies. Steppen has never been someone to ignore in solos. Back in the day during preseason 0 to preseason 2, when we were playing a lot, Steppen's burst capacity is insane, not including how much damage those spears can do. Glorified, what's your experience with those spears thus far?
Well, I don't actually think I've ever been hit by a spear that's really gotten me to a point where I'm super frustrated, but I will say that it makes sense that a player like ZB, very high tier player, very well respected, going on Steppen is going to do a little bit better than more straightforward champions because like Nidalee, Steppen also has multiple stances. Am I wrong? I think I'm correct there. And so having multiple stances gives you even more abilities that you need to be working out in your mind when it comes to how you're strategizing, fighting, moving forward. So to have a Steppen in a high tier game like this, that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with because that skill ceiling is so high. The way that games design around that fact is by adding additional damage, adding more rewards to successful combos.
Right, right. Steppen is extremely similar to that of Nidalee, or rather any character that we have seen in other MOBAs that essentially have two sets of abilities. It allows for a very mechanical advantage over some other characters because there's a lot of potential that you can do in different types of situations. But yes, Steppen is definitely someone that you do not want to sleep on late game.
Well, because, you can even think about it from a simpler perspective, like champions from League of Legends like Lux, where Lux does a lot more damage than some casters because all of her skills are skill shots. And so it's one thing when an ability is point and click, it's another when it has a chance to miss. Because when an ability has a chance to miss, again, the way that's balanced from a design perspective is often by adding damage so that when it does hit, when your skill does shine through that difficulty, you are rewarded properly for it. It's the same concept with Steppen. It's a harder champion, so they do more damage and they can do more.
I definitely agree. With that being said, the next lobby will be made here. I will go ahead and put the stats, not the stats of the game, but like the point breakdowns and all that stuff up on the screen again, just so again we're all familiarized with that, and then we'll find some other topics to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know how much Steppen really relied on that spear in that game, but overall, again, just great to see a champion that you don't expect to be played come out for the win. Great to see maybe a slightly lesser known player. ZB, I haven't played against them too much. I think they might be from a different region. I might be wrong. But again, great to see them coming in here and showing up all of us NA folk how it's really done.
ZB is actually OG of the OG. Back in preseason 0, you hear me. ZB has always been at the top of the leaderboards, and quite frankly, this is the first time that I have seen ZB pop off with Steppen. It's not uncommon for ZB to pop off on anything that he uses, but I sense that ZB may have been practicing this from behind the scenes.
Yeah, and you wonder how many of these players have been trying to hide their pocket picks. Now, we know that players like Zasha, who have like a 90% win rate on Korek, like we can expect what they're going to pick. But, right, players like ZB, where, like you say, we've never seen them pop off on Steppen, have they been keeping that under wraps so that they can pull it out here and really show us all how it's done?
I definitely think that is a very definite possibility. We have seen many people pull champions that we are not familiar with them playing, but I do believe that there has been a lot of practice time that they have been doing on their own, potentially in the trial phase of just practicing their rotations, practicing their positioning, running games on other servers that, many of us are not playing. EA, SEA, EU, SA, right? These are definite possibilities, and I honestly would not be surprised because there is a lot of money on the line.
Yeah, and looting is, again, I think I briefly touched on it in the last game, but looting is such an important part of this game, and pathing from one place to another is so different in a 5, 6, 7-man lobby versus 30. You're almost certainly going to be running into somebody on your way there. Once you get there, wherever you go, you need to be on edge, and it just creates such this great environment where players are very clearly nervous. You don't have to see their faces to know. You can just see from the way that they're playing. Like, you need to be careful, and they realize that with so much on the line.
I definitely agree. This is, you heard it here first. The meta is changing as we speak. People are going to try to adapt based off of what happened last game. There could be champion shifts. There could be rotation shifts. People could have multiple different presets that they already have pre-made on the off chance that these particular situations transpire. I am very, very, very excited to see what people are going to bring to the table to try to get them the better advantage.
So see, with this event and how important getting kills are, it almost makes me wonder if picking Violet is almost a death sentence. We saw a lot of Violets last game, maybe only 2, but still, I mean, that's a fair number of Violets. There were plenty of champions that were completely unplayed. And I have a feeling that in this next upcoming game, we might only see 1 Violet or potentially no Violets because they're so easy to kill early. You're just putting a target on your back as, hey, I'm free points. Come get me,
I definitely agree to an extent. Violet is still a very, very strong character. Not only can she have a lot of maneuverability, being able to chain to environments essentially twice, but the fact that she can go not just invisible, but invulnerable. That invisibility counts as essentially an iframe. You can get out of abilities, you can dodge skill shots, you can get out of pretty much anything. It's basically a built-in purification scroll. So potentially what we might see are people picking Violet, but utilizing their own kit very differently.
Now, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Violet's E requires that you cast it before the ability or the CC lands. I don't think it's a free Purify. So if you get ulted by a Kaiba, you can spam E all you want, but you gotta turn invisible before you hit the wall if you want to be able to walk through. Now, I might be wrong about that, but I do play a fair amount of Violet, and I do find myself getting CC'd, and if I haven't already turned invisible, I can't get out of it.
Very true. It does not hold the exact same principles of a Puri scroll. However, it is still an iframe, so it is possible to completely dodge something if you time it appropriately. We are still...
That is true, for sure.
Yes, indeed. I do apologize for cutting you off. We are still in the process of building the next lobby, so please be patient. Glorified. That was a insane lobby. Was there any other fights that come to mind with that last game?
Yeah, we saw a good Leo fight in the middle of the game. Was it a... Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I believe it possibly was a range running someone down with the E to the Elma dog.
Oh, man, that's right. That's right. We gotta go back and talk about that. I'm kicking myself for not remembering it more vividly right there. But yeah, Leo chasing down an Elma and utilizing the fact that Elma has a hunting dog, and how Elma can send the hunting dog almost like a movable ward. So you can go around corners with it, and people won't be able to see your champion. They'll be able to see the dog. Now, the Leo, knowing that they can bounce their E, their Throne Shield ability, off of the dog and still hit Elma, utilizing that mechanic for the kill is so crazy, because again, the E is a skill shot, but once you hit a unit, it is no longer up to skill. It will bounce and hit another one that's in range. Knowing that that is something you can do, having the ability to do it, it was so crazy to watch. I was so happy to see something like that happen, because, man, the mechanical capacity for this game to really let certain players shine, I just love that. And we just got to see that there with what's considered a relatively simple champion, but, you know, a few Leos today showing that he really is something not to be ignored.
That is something I definitely agree with. Leo's E is a very interesting ability. Not only can it bounce off of targetable objects, but it can be bounced off of untargetable objects as well. You can use an E onto a farmable tree or a stone of some kind, and it will bounce off of that and have the same properties as if it hit a targetable enemy. That play, absolutely insane. I do believe a range used roughly 3 volatile bombs to be able to get in range for the TPE, but crazy stuff coming out of the Leos today. But I also want to talk briefly about the ballistas. We've seen a couple good ballista plays that game. Now, we briefly spoke about this last lobby. Ballista has a ton of burst capacity. What do you think ballistas need to do if they want to make it later into the lobbies?
So ballistas need to know that they always need to plan for a fight well in advance. You need to know that you're about to get jumped on as a ballista, and you need to have at least one ballista already out there. You know, one turret maybe isn't even enough. You got to have the one down. You need to be ready to place your second, and you need to not hesitate, because when you get dove on, you are at a disadvantage. Ballista's greatest advantage is setting up for a fight. So if you are not ready for the fights when they come to you, you're not going to make it to the end of the lobby.
Very true. And just like that, I don't believe I see a single ballista. People are already adapting at the difficulties in being able to survive as ballista with this many people in the lobby. And just like that, we kick off game 2.
Yeah, now Sonya is something that everybody's really interested in. I see at least 4 Sonyas, and it makes sense. I don't know if Sonya has too much sustain, but I know that Sonya is a crazy fighter and can dish out a ton of damage early. These Sonyas might be relying on early kills to pad up their stats. It's hard to say for sure, but we got Marshed, Quippy, Sheena Gaming. We got a lot of people who are really well known now deciding that they want to have a piece of Sonya.
Absolutely. I am very happy to see Inked actually getting on his Selkie. Selkie is probably the second most unplayed champion in this game for solos. Though she may not have a lot of self-peel and maneuverability, she makes up for in complete burst damage.
That's right. It's really hard to go against a Selkie 1v1 if the Selkie is ready for it. She has hard CC. She has a ton of damage. She has a small dash. So it's not like a chef situation where you have next to no peel. She has a little bit of something, but man, I don't think she's going to make it too far into the game because Selkie is really just not something that I think is truly meta.
I will agree with you there. It is very interesting to see a Selkie pick. It makes me happy, but you are very right. It's unlikely that we will be able to see him go late game, but we could potentially see a different style play of Selkie that we have not seen.
Yeah, Selkie taking really questionable trades here, losing a lot of health and not having an advantage in that sort of fight.
Very true. Inked, however, is not shy to go all out, even as Selkie early level, not having any items. This just shows his play style is more on the aggressive side, as most people that play Selkie are a little bit more passive.
Well, another thing about Selkie, and I haven't combed through every single champion ability, so it's hard to say, but Selkie has insane attack damage scaling. Her Q can get up to 1.2 scaling, which is one of the highest that I've seen when it comes to the abilities that I've read through.
Definitely true. Pretty much every single one of her abilities can crit, and they crit extremely hard. But what also hits hard is CU Tactical running down Altair here above Fairy Lake, getting him below 25% HP, and now they are on the full sprint away.
This is looking bad for Altair. They do have some peel, but they're so low on health. All Tactical has to do is land one combo, and they're toast about to get third party, potentially by Serum. No Serum peels for a Tactical Hobo?
Questionable there. So I do believe Sarum was just trying to loot and just happened to run by two individuals that happened to be in a hot pursuit. Altair able to mount up here and possibly escape for the inadvertent peel from Sarum.
Yeah, Sarum really allowing... I don't remember exactly who it was, unfortunately, but yeah, Sarum really preventing Tactical Hobo from securing that kill there. I don't think it was intentional, but yeah, things like that, ooh, must hurt Tactical.
Definitely bound to happen when you have 8 players in the minor tavern area. It is very common for people to not fight this early, but not for Alan. Alan says, no, I don't want to deal with Sonya late game, going for the E full combo, but decides to back off.
And if you pull yourself over to Blanky right now, he's getting chased down by ZB, taking a lot of damage. All he's one spear away from getting taken down. Eden's great, but can the sustain really last through ZB Steppen? No, it cannot. ZB showing that Steppen is not something to be messed with, even with how powerful Eden is in the current meta.
As many people have said in our community, it's too easy for ZB. He is really showing himself tonight on the Steppen.
So great, again, to see a champion like Steppen being utilized so great by such an amazing player. Love to see it.
Definitely love to see it. Things have somewhat died down for the most part. Altair and Marsh, however, trying to go for a bit of a Sonya battle. Who is the better Sonya? I do believe Marsh is in a better position to take this fight, as he is almost fully geared, and Altair has nothing but boots.
Yeah, Marsh is up on gear, up on levels, and he is chasing down Altair. It is not looking good.
Oh, big stun from Marsh coming in, and the Wolf is actually helping him kill Altair, and just like that, Altair will drop.
It looked like Altair might have just given up at the end there. Maybe he DC'd, but he just, at the very least, stopped moving and said, well, I guess this is my fate. Whether it was intentional or not, I don't think he was going to make it out of there either way.
ZB trying to chase Tactical down here. Tactical has to be very careful. He kind of boxed himself in a little bit. He will be able to go back over the wall, but so will ZB. His dash is off a cooldown, and ZB is now on the full chase. Oh, good kick from Tactical to get a little bit of distance, but he's still within spear range, and just like that, max range spear for the second kill of the game. My goodness, ZB really popping off today.
That is a fight that Tactical should have avoided like the plague. He had no items other than cards. You can't be taking a fight like that. Maybe he didn't try, but he certainly did not try to get away enough.
ZB has definitely shown a different form of aggression. I understand that he is a very, very good player, but I think because there's money on the line, he has red in his eyes, and so does Zasha, finding Sarum here in Crow's Quarry, getting Sarum extremely low. No! Bad volatile bomb from Sarum. She will pop ultimate here to try to get a little bit of distance, missing the root. Sasha will be able to catch up to this, I believe, but that is extremely unfortunate. Volatile bombing herself back into a Korik.
Zasha using pots and then mounting up, that might leave just enough time for the Milia to escape, and it looks like the Milia has gotten away. If Zasha had just kept on the Milia there, I don't know if they would have gotten away.
Very true. Andy is not able to get away from 30-day ban here in the River of Life, managing to get bursted down. 30-day will likely do a lot of damage as he is almost full perp, but just like that, Quippy getting a little caught out here by Arrange. Tries to hop over the wall to run from Arrange his Q. He will be in E-range. He will be able to get a couple autos and another follow-up Q. Very unfortunate for Quippy getting caught out this early.
So Quippy had a golden opportunity there that they couldn't have expected to happen, but it looked like Arrange's dash got blocked by a boar. That was the moment to get into a bush and start mounting up. I don't know if they would have had enough time, but still, Arrange did mess up a combo there and could have been taken advantage of.
Definitely. Sandro is getting taken advantage of by Zasha right now in the Kobold area. Big ultimate from Zasha, and just like that, Sandro's down.
Looks like Inked is also trying to get off a little bit of damage on Zasha. Again, Zasha has crazy items. Once he clears a couple of these camps, he might have full build as well. This is going to be tough for Inked. I don't know if this is the fight that he wants to be taking, but it looks like he's going to try.
Yeah, Inked loves farming up kobolds as Selkie, and he will likely fight for this spot. Even though Zasha is extremely strong, he is respecting Selkie's burst potential. But Marst catching ZB out in a little disadvantage. I do believe he was trying to farm up a little bit. Will be able to land the spear for the speed boost to run away here, but Marsh wants this kill. Oh, but he has to be careful though. This could get very bad for Mars very quickly. ZB does have extremely burst potential. Mars trying to jump in for the stun. ZB will be able to get a little bit of distance. Big spear, half health below. Indeed, big stun trap. ZB will be able to read that. Oh my god, max range spear for his third kill of the evening. Wow.
You just see that and you wonder, like, what is Marsh thinking? I've come into this habit of just trusting Marsh when he makes decisions, but what was that chase? He just got completely manhandled by ZB, and it was completely avoidable.
I'm not entirely sure what that play was. Bike Kicker finding Rocket here in the building. Looker killing Kizuko off screen. Bike Kicker getting extremely low. Has to be careful. Alicia's burst damage is insane, but it's not enough. Bike Kicker able to secure that kill for himself, but almost dying in the process.
Again, Leos are powerful. They're powerful mid-game, they're powerful late-game, and I think they deserve to be a bigger part of the meta, and it's great to see a few Leos taking advantage of that kit and doing a great job while they do it.
Well, Leo's damage mostly comes from his Q, as it does percent health damage, and it is slept on in a very, very high capacity 30-day, catching Zasa out. This is very rough for him. He cannot actually farm this entire area as he usually does on Korik. He could be potentially set behind.
Yeah, 30-day with a crazy build, already having legendary gloves and almost full purple except for one card.
Indeed, speaking of full purple, Dread is also full purple, catching Volpe, trying to cross the bridge from Coral Forest over the Whale Lighthouse, and unfortunately he has popped at some point. I did not get to see the beginning of the fight, but Dread is playing Sasha. Sasha's burst potential is out of this world.
We don't see enough people playing bridges, you know? That's a great role for a ballista. Be a bridge troll, you know? Have them pay the troll toll in order to get across. I would love to see more people posting up on bridges, just like Dread's doing right now. He wants to force Idol into the bridge because the zone's going to shift and Idol's going to be stranded if he doesn't cross at some point.
I do agree with that. Oh, big TP from Pure Idols in between Sarum and Seiwari, getting into a little bit of an exchange. Pure will be able to disengage and run away. Sarum really wants to take this fight on Seiwari. This looks a little personal as they completely set their sights onto each other. Big squirrel coming out. Big ultimate from Seiwari to follow up. The flash is not enough as she will be frozen to follow that up. Oh, miss Q, but it doesn't matter. She will get the kill with her W. Good play from Seiwari.
it was played perfectly by Seiwari. They stopped the Melia ult from reaching them with the stun, because again, Melia's ult only affects an area around her. So by being able to zone her out, Seiwari dominated that fight and is now looking to turn it onto Pure with only half mana.
Seiwari is not scared to take any of these early engagements, but they do have to be careful. Eden does have a lot more sustain than she does. Double totem coming out, but she says no. She actually might be looking to turn this fight, burning practically everything in her kit to try to lock this down. Pure still has ultimate advantage, so this could honestly go either way.
Yeah, these support versus support fights. I mean, I know that Seiwari might be considered a mage, but when you have two champions that rely on either sustain or CC, those fights go on for a long time, and it can be really hard to tell where it's going to go, because Eden, a deceptively tanky champion with all that healing.
Yes, and Leo is also deceptively tanky, fighting Ego here in Minor Tavern, getting Ego below half HP. Did burn ultimate earlier off screen. Big poison potion to come out. Ego trying to wrap around the environment to get a little bit of distance. Does force the TP. Bike Kicker will likely TP dash into an E to follow up for the slow. Yes, does connect. He is still on the full sprint. This is looking very tight for Ego, but at the same time, Hydrocide getting killed by 30 Day. Arrange is also on the run. Back to Bike Kicker. Bike Kicker managing to get close enough, but big volatile bomb from Ego to get a little bit of distance, following that up with the slow. This is not looking good for Ego. Oh my god! Dread coming in for the third party is looking at a two-piece special possibility.
Oh my god, Dread Scorpion coming into a perfect situation where he gets the third party, not one kill, but potentially two, landing the charm, landing all the damage, and oh my god, Dread comes out of that with 2 kills where none should have been.
Dread showing us the absolute devastation for landing that charm in a Sasha combo, managing to pick up 2 free kills here in Fairy Lake.
What an unfortunate situation that Leo was not expecting that to happen. And unfortunately for Bike Kicker, although his Leo is amazing, oh god, that hurt to watch, but hurt so good.
Definitely also hurt to watch Eyelooker getting completely smacked down by Sea Monster, as he is likely upset from yesterday's custom lobby. Seiwari getting caught up by Zasha. Big TP from Zasha to stay within Q range. Everything in Seiwari's kit trying to come out, but it won't be enough, as Zasha is likely fully kitted. Oh my goodness, 2 legendaries on Zasha right now.
Yeah, Zasha is no longer in the position he was last game. He has achieved raid boss status, and I don't think people are going to be able to catch him out anymore. I think it's going to take a coordinated effort to take out the threat that is Zasha.
Very true. 30 Day catching ZB a little out of position. They both are relatively in the same position. Both of them have legendary items. ZB actually opts to go away. Nice E from 30 Day to dodge that spear, as he likely would have hit it. Trying to throw the totem to get a little bit of vision where ZB went, but ZB will be able to walk away. They should be able to disengage, heal up, and possibly re-engage.
30 Day has now blown their ultimate, though, so this is no longer going to be a fight that's in 30 Day's favor. ZB is going to look to turn around and potentially win this, but no, 30 Day thinks they can still take it without the ultimate. They're trying.
Very true. They are not scared to engage with the Violet, trying to bait out ZB for making a mistake. He's likely trying to bait out a spear and then taking that opportunity to land a chain to follow up, as his Q will be on cooldown. That's exactly what's going to happen here. 30 Day looking to turn this fight, but oh no, he catches the spear, forced to back off a little bit, trying to go for a little bit of Q harass. This is nice mechanics here from both players.
Yeah, ZB is using the terrain perfectly to make sure that 30 Day does not have a clear hook on him, because if ZB gets hooked, he is toast.
Oh,
well,
speaking of that exactly what happens. But no, 30 Day actually respects his damage and decides to back it off, despite the fact that the red zone is right on top of them. He will be able to escape and pot up, but he's running in the direction of not 1, not 2, but 3 different players. ZB is hot on his ass.
Yeah, 30 Day is actually going a tankier build than you might expect on Violet, which allows him to hook in and land a couple of his abilities and then quickly E out of the fight. So I think he might be going for a more of a poke build than a full assassin build.
Very interesting to see a more tanky build coming out of 30 Day on Violet. This should be a testament to show that you don't always have to go full glass cannon. It is still beneficial to build maybe 1, possibly 2 defensive items in solos.
Yeah, well, both of his legendaries are actually defensive. He has a defensive weapon and he has defensive gloves.
Zasha trying to possibly come in for a third party. ZB deciding it's not worth that smoke. Will back off to get his mana, as Steppen is a definite mana consumption fiend, having to always switch, and just like that, Zasha goes in for the TPQ, dropping ZB by 25%. Oh no, Pure coming in for an easy third party on ZB. This is looking hot for ZB.
I trust ZB, and he might have something up his sleeve to get out of this situation, but it is a bad one for sure.
Very true. ZB trying to go for the pop, but Zasha will not allow this to happen, as he does not want ZB to take the double down win for tonight's tournament. ZB trying to do everything in his power to dismount Zasha. Zasha forced to back it off, realizing that if he cut that corner, he likely would have been punished for it. Pure getting caught up by 30 Day here in the bush. Pure trying to go for the ultimate. No, chained out of it. Zasha now coming in for the third party. ZB for the fourth party. Big stun trap coming out of Zasha on the Pure. That should be an easy kill with the zone knockout. Very beautiful play from Zasha. Now, Silly getting into a little bit of action himself, but 30 Day now has to full run away from ZB, as he is not anywhere remotely close to... Oh my god! 45% from that spear from ZB! He's hitting everybody with these spears!
Literally 1 health. If 30 does not get away right now, they are going to regret it. What a spear. ZB not going to let them just leave. ZB unaware that 30 is in that bush.
What a juke. What a juke from 30 Days. Utilizing the fact that he didn't actually have to come out of this bush and that the zone is now tightening. ZB thinking that the movement to his east was 30 Day, but it actually was a range. Now he's a little bit punished for it. This is about to get really crazy. A range is in a very tough spot. That was so crazy from 30 Day. Big brain moves coming out of people tonight.
Yeah, luckily for 30 Day, Violet has some of the best peel in the game, so they should be able to get away from this arranged, but missing that hook right there was a big deal, because you do not get your follow-up hook if you do not hit terrain. So 30 Day is back into a tough situation. Luckily, hook back off cooldown should be all right if they play it correctly.
A range is hot on his ass though. Oh my god, big move again. Yo, 30 Day is Geiga Brain tonight.
30 Day is ready to just eat right now, and I do not blame him.
30 Days showing us the full capacity of juke ability on Violet. Zasha getting extremely low. Sea Monster getting caught up by 30 Day. He's not done. Forced the TP over the wall, but a range is still there. Does have ultimate. Does he use it here on 30 Day to lock him down? Big Law coming out of 30 Day, trying to look for anything to chain on. He's literally chaining to air, able to chain to environment. He will be able to get a little bit of distance here, but Dread right here in front goes for the charm, missing it entirely. 30 Day is still on the full sprint.
Oh, Dread is thirsting for that third party, like he's already shown us so
30
many
Day
times. He's not quite able to get it.
30 Day managing to somehow able to escape yet again and pot up around the corner, taking advantage of everyone in this lobby. Still 5 bodies in this closed zone. This is getting intense. Dread getting into an exchange with a range, popping him like a balloon. And man, oh man, 30 Day. What mechanics out of him tonight on the Violet.
And that's just one of those things, you know, if you can't land your W's as Violet, you're going to have a hard time. But if you can, you're going to look at you're going to look like this. You're going to look great.
Is this the invisibility potion play? 30 Day is literally Geiga Brain. Oh my god. I have never seen that before. He literally used an invisibility potion in front of everybody and no one punished him for it. Does land the charm from Dread. Zone is now shifting southwest. Big poison potion from 30 Day to zone off. Not one, but 2 members. Big charm on the ZB. Unfortunately for him, he will be caught out with that poison potion. 30 Day knows that he's outside of the house. He will likely go for a full engage here on ZB, as he is missed chain, allowing him to take a couple ticks of zone. Big charm coming from Dread onto 30 Day. Dread forced to pot up here. ZB will drop from Zasha. 30 Day will back off. Heal yet again. Jasa now turning his sights on Dread. Zone is now shifting back to the north.
30 Day losing most of their health off of that misplay. If he didn't hook into the zone, he'd probably be okay right now, but it's looking very bad for 30 Day, going directly into Korok damage. Now they're just going to try to heal up in third party this as best they can. This is looking tough. I think Zasha's going to take this one.
Zasha's in a very good spot as he managed to land a health potion. Dread is now in Zasha's sights. Big damage from Zasha on the Dread, trying to do what he can. Big charm. However, I don't know if it's going to be enough. 30 Day looking to poach this kill. Will he be able to? No. Zasha will be able to lock that down. This could be it for 30 Days. Zasha looking for a W tonight. Rat back from 30 Days. No! Failed volatile bomb. Unfortunately for 30 Days, KSing himself in the zone. Zasha takes game 2.
That was a great performance there from Zasha. He really showed what Korik can do at full build, and it's not pretty unless you're the Korik.
Absolutely. 8 kills, 29,000 damage coming out of Zasha. What a game. Really showing the capacity of late game Korik. Wow. Tons of action in that lobby.
Yeah, and overall, Zasha was not too overpowered compared to everybody else. He had 2 legendaries, which is what Dread and 30 Day also had. It just comes down to Korik being such an oppressive champion, especially in the final circle when you have so few options to run away.
Yes, I do also want to comment on 30 Day showing us Juke City 101. Juking people left and right, taking fights, disengaging, and actually forcing a third party to save himself. Very beautiful plays coming out of 30 Day tonight.
Now, did 30 Day gain extra points by securing second place, or is second to fifth kind of all the same boat?
How do you mean?
So did 30 Day gain extra points in the tournament by coming in second versus third?
Yes. So, wait, no, because it's second to fifth being the same point value. So at that point, it would just come down to how many kills he got, throughout the game to combat that as well. I have it on the screen as well. That's the only reason why I corrected myself. Originally, second had 7 points, and then it broke down from there, but we made some last-second adjustments to the point system. But man, oh man, this has been such an insane night thus far. Such an insane night. We have seen play after play after play. We have seen a crazy amount of mechanical advantages from all different types of players. But ironically, we were talking about the lack of what Violet would potentially be able to pull into the game, and 30 Day immediately says, you guys need to shut the hell up.
I know, 30 Day not letting us have any of the glory. The moment we try to make some theoretical assessments of the game, he slaps us in the face, showing us that Violet is not only viable in solos, but quite oppressive when it comes to engaging, when it comes to escaping. There is very little that Violet cannot do, but healing is that thing that she cannot do. And unfortunately, Korik can take advantage of champions that can't heal, champions that can't sustain, and so it's hard to point to one specific highlight from 30 Day during that game, but all of the escapes with 1 health, all of the invisibility potion plays, the invisibility jukes, I mean, just a great showcase of what Violet can do.
I definitely agree. Violet is not someone to be slept on. Her juke capabilities, as I said prior in our conversation talking about her kit, the ability to be able to become invisible and invulnerable briefly, you never know what you can do. And we just seen what that looks like when you pull out the Geiger Brain. With that being said, though, Glorified, I will let you finish your point before I continue.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna point out that there were so many game-ending charms that were coming towards 30 Day that just a clever use of the E ability, that invisibility, was able to avoid. So again, just great play all around from 30 Day and Zasha, the whole lobby. Great game.
Definitely agree. With that being said, because this next game will be game number 3, we will take a brief 5-minute intermission. So feel free to go to the bathroom, get drinks, get your snacks, and we will be coming right back to this crazy tournament.
Yeah, it's going to get even crazier now that the meta is going to develop a little bit and the players are going to know what they're in for when they're jumping into these games.
Absolutely agree. We will be right back with the Royal Crown Royals League Solo Cup. Oh, I'm super excited.
ready when you are.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Let's get this stuff popping. Let's dip to the intermission screen briefly while I potentially pull up the stat page, which I believe Super provided us as well. Let me look at it first, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I'm looking as well.
Actually, this would probably be easier if I did this. Here, let me go like this. That way I don't have to pull it up and adjust everything. So, for future reference, no pun intended to your name, do this instead. And then we'll get like a overlay specifically for that, right? But we will be getting the next lobby prepared. I'm extremely excited. Just having that little break and just kind of reiterating in my brain what we just witnessed. This is about what I expected. Stuff hitting the fan, things getting extremely crazy, and I'm very curious to see if we're gonna see even more of a meta shift for this next game. Glorified, what do you feel as though we might see here for Game 3?
So now the lobby is sort of settling in and understanding that ZB is likely going to be picking Stepan, and so far it's worked out really, really well for ZB. So I think we're going to be seeing some anti-ZB builds, some anti-Zasha builds, because now we're getting to the point where if you are place 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you are going to be needing to take some like serious play into your own hands and try to figure out a way to dethrone ZB, Zasha, iLooker from the top 3 here.
Definitely. I would very much like to see people trying to counter this, but honestly, I haven't seen much of, punish early game. Like, Stepan is such a hard champion to deal with as they do so much damage, and you really don't even need too many items. So I'm very curious to see how people will adapt to this. But with that being said, I will go ahead and switch it back to the stat page, and we will get ready to go into Game 3.
Yeah, these games have been really, really exciting so far, and I'm seeing a lot of names that I recognize, and I'm seeing a lot of them towards the top. Dread Scorpion is sort of a friend of mine, and he's maybe the first person who really taught me some things about this game in the community Discord, and I'm really excited to see him at rank 7, and I'm hoping that he can maybe eke his way up a few more ranks, although it is probably going to be a tearaway for either ZB or Zasha. I think that we're going to see quite the clash between those two in particular. I fear that it may just be a contest between them two for rank 1 at this point.
Very true, but at any point, people could make a full meta shift and possibly champion pull switch up to completely counter anything that ZB and Zasha are likely going to do early, mid, and late game. We could potentially possibly even see a int of deliberately killing them, whether it costs them to the game just for the possibility of them staying within the top 5.
That's true, and one thing that maybe I haven't considered quite enough is the fact that Zasha went from scoring only 2 points in match 1 to scoring 18 points in match 2, which makes Zasha's second match the highest scoring match for anybody. Nobody scored that many points in a match. Even ZB in match 1 only scored 15. So I guess we could still see quite the upset from anybody in potentially the top 15.
Yes, we could see a slight shift. We could see a dip. It's all going to become dependent on who is going to come out on top from these fights. We are still filling up this lobby, but I'm very, very excited to be able to cast these games tonight.
Yeah, it is so thrilling to be able to cast this game, and especially, as we've said, with such an amazing community.
Absolutely. Whenever we get everyone in the lobby in their particular placements, I do believe we're actually ready, are we not? All right, looks like we are moving forward in 10 seconds for game number 3. Glorified. I know that we've been talking about ZB. I know we've been talking about Steppen, Zasha, and the usuals. Who else do you have your eye on this evening?
Well, I know that iLooker is very good. He's another one of those players who I have experienced in matchmaking myself early on to very, very poor effects to my LP. So iLooker, definitely somebody not to ignore. Hydrocide, creating an entire meta around Eden, not someone to ignore. Arrange, some amazing Leo plays. Again, no one here should be ignored, but just because we're talking about ZB, just because we're talking about Zasha, they may be raid boss level, but there are so many other skilled players in this lobby. It's hard to find ones I don't recognize.
Yes, everyone in this lobby are well known within our community. They all have the capacity to potentially pop off, and I'm very curious to see what people are going to bring to the table now, as like I said, there is a lot on the line.
Who out of this roster has probably brought the most salt into your life? Who do you just hate going against?
Quite frankly, ZB. ZB is the bane of my existence. ZB not only has Geiger Brain, but somehow has this ability to always find you at the worst possible times. I cannot express the amount of times that ZB has rolled up behind me as I'm literally saying out loud to my stream, gee, I really hope ZB doesn't show up. And then he pops out of the bush.
Again, you've spoken very highly about ZB, and he's a player that I really haven't experienced all too much play from. But from what I've seen today, what amazing step-in mechanics, and I'm glad to see him back at it. 2 Korriks this game, however, that's something we haven't seen just yet. Serum as well as Zasha taking on the Korrik role here.
Absolutely, Serum possibly trying to have a full Korrik off here in the late game. I'm very curious to see what type of build he will be going and whether or not they will clash early to mid game, as they will likely need the same items if their build is anywhere remotely close to each other.
Yeah, a Korrik v Korrik situation is a lot like the immovable object and the unstoppable force. It's hard to say who's going to spin to win harder.
Cue up the Beyblade music, because it might happen this game.
I know, I would just love to see a couple of Korriks spinning onto each other, and hey, we might be blessed with such a performance.
I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if both Korriks are spinning at the same time, do not be surprised if I start singing the Beyblade theme song, because it could get very, very interesting.
You wonder if they had Beyblades on their mind when they were designing Korrik. I'm sure they had Baron.
Is there ever a time where Beyblades wouldn't be on your mind? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the original Beyblade theme song is absolute fuego.
Marsh probably wishes he was playing Beyblades right now. He's at half health instead of farming.
That is unfortunate. That was possibly Altair putting in that damage, or maybe even the other 2 individuals in Magic Supply Shop. Oh, is this a clump up? Zasha, Volpe, and Sea Monster are running practically with each other. I do know that Zasha does go to Miner at some point with his build, as he does build relatively tanky. So that could be why Kaiba is shortly behind him, as he will also likely be building somewhat of the same items. I don't know if they'll fight here. No, they won't. To be expected.
It makes a lot of sense for them not to fight. I actually know that Zasha doesn't really like taking fights until he has visited Cobalt. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't, but Zasha is a good player, and a lot of the players in this lobby know that fighting early can only pay off poorly, as we've seen so many times, so many third parties that result in the fighting parties just gaining nothing out of an early fight other than potential loss or simply loss of points. Zasha knows this, and he's not going to fight until he can secure that kill.
I definitely agree. To comment at the fact that we have 3 Sashas this game, as Dread likely enticed people to want to have that burst capacity as well as the charm late game. There has been a little bit of an exchange from iLooker earlier near the teleporter, but they were able to back it off and heal up. Sea Monster getting into a small exchange with, I believe, Zasha. They both will be able to disengage and heal up. Sarum, however, getting completely caught out by ZB. This is exactly what I was talking about. If you want to stop Cork, you have to stop him early. ZB already starting this game with a kill before level 8. My goodness. Really, really scary stuff coming out of Steppen from ZB tonight.
Yeah, Sasha, I couldn't see who it was, just ran past ZB, completely turned around and said, nope, I don't want any of that, and I do not blame them. ZB is showing us that they are not to be messed with, Steppen or not, I would imagine.
I definitely agree. ZB is a force to be reckoned with. A range, however, is also a force to be reckoned with, able to pop off on pure idols off screen. I did manage to catch the end of the fight. It looked like an easy cleanup. ZB again, however, catching Eyelooker early. Oh my god, from downtown with the spear for his second kill of the game.
It's something that you missed, but I was watching ZB. There was a perfect guess. ZB throwing a spear right where that Sasha ended up blinking. I believe it was Eyelooker, again, a favorite to many, going down so early. That's going to really hurt their placement.
Yeah, that is extremely unfortunate for Eyelooker, as I do believe last game he unfortunately did disconnect at some point, and now getting eliminated this early, that cannot help his placements at all.
He's still got diamonds to look forward to, but again, like, it's nothing compared to what you're going to be getting if you're the top player, and that's why it's so competitive here. There is money on the line.
Absolutely. $100 going to first place, $50 to second, and $25 to third place. Silly, however, getting below half HP, forced to TP over the wall. Zasha is close behind him with a nice volatile bomb to follow up. Wow, what a volatile bomb.
Yeah, Zasha even pulling out the ult there just to secure that spin to win kill. And of course, he does do it. Zasha does not want to end second. He's looking for all the points that he can get for that $100 and that 15k diamonds.
Absolutely. Andy is also pretty hungry for that title as well. He is able to clean up a kill of his own on Shinny Gaming. Unfortunate for him, but he's actually playing Rook, which has not been played in this game thus far.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of Rook getting played. We saw it in the customs yesterday, but it is pretty rare, and I don't really know why.
Rook used to have a lot more of value in fights, but a lot of people feel as though he is too squishy. And speaking of squishy, Marsh catching Blanky a little out of position, forced the volatile bomb away, will not get the heal off as Marsh shoves him into the wall. Volatile bomb coming out, but no, it actually cancels his momentum, hitting into the environment, and now this is not looking too good for Blanky.
This is not the kind of situation that Blinky wants to be in, and he does go down, but Eden, under-leveled, underpowered, is not going to hold their own against a Kaiba, especially when it's Marshed on Kaiba. Marshed, an amazing player.
I definitely agree. He has a lot of PT with Kaiba, and I have expressed since day one that Kaiba is an extremely strong character, and we are definitely seeing that be proven here tonight.
And what did they do when they realized that Kaiba was so strong? What was their decision to go forward from there?
They decided to buff him for whatever reason. But hey, I am a Kaiba main. I will take a free buff.
Yeah, buffs are definitely good, especially when they buff your main. Makes everybody else sad though, I'm sure.
The biggest thing about that buff, however, is the fact that they added a shield to his ultimate, which I don't understand why. He already had a double passive potentially, and then they gave him a third shield. Not recommended. But ZB, however, catching Sewori a little bit out of position, managing to get Sewori a little bit low, and will likely try to chase this fight down. Miss spear from ZB, but he's still on the prowl.
Yeah, this is a great place for Sewori to fight, because Sewori outranges ZB on almost every ability other than that spear. So as long as Sewori can keep the distance in Vineyard, it's going to be a good fight for them to take, except they have very little mana now. But, of course, the pots come out, just as to be expected from this caliber of play. Absolutely,
and speaking of the caliber of play, Arrange managing to completely outplay Andy as he almost died in the process. I was watching that entire fight. Arrange did land the fat ultimate onto Andy, and Andy followed up with his ultimate as well. But unfortunately for Andy, Arrange just has a little bit more DPS as of this moment.
Yeah, with a build that's almost filled out like Arrange has, he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with on Leo. You cannot ignore these Leos.
Yes, as we have spoken about before, Leo's Q does percent health damage, and with such low cooldown, it is practically spammable, and that is where the devastating damage comes from.
That's right. I mean, in many cases, Leos are using Q more than they're auto attacking. It's kind of like this big flurry of auto attacks that can even go through terrain. Some people might not know that, but you can Q someone with Leo through a wall.
'Cause Leo, as I like to say. Things have relatively died down. A lot of action early to mid game. Soupbox sitting at half HP. Wait, he's actually being hunted by Kizuko right now. Oh, big TP from both. Oh no, this is bad for Soup. I don't think he was aware that he couldn't W outside of the building. Does land a charm, but it's parried by Kizuko for the follow-up and kill.
There are a lot of dashes that can't go through those walls. It might seem like a very thin wall, but you can only blink through them. Dashes will not work.
You are absolutely correct. You cannot dash through them. However, Bastine's E still allows you to go through objects for whatever reason, cause Bastine. Seiwori in a very tough spot here in between Ego Breaker, Hydrocide, and as well as Volpe, but Volpe is rotating southeast, but Ego stops for whatever reason. Seiwori will be able to engage this, and just like that, Ego is now in the tough spot, dropping below half HP. Double totem coming out. Ego forced to drop out. Hydrocide trying to do what he can to focus down Seiwori, as he is likely the bigger target because he can actually use the items that Seiwori has, and now we're in a full skirmish.
Again, you got to be careful with the third parties in this situation. There's a step.
Oh my god!
He is able to secure that kill. Nice job, Seiwori.
What a flash! What a TPW on that kill. Jesus, that was clean as can be. And oh no, Idol catching Kizuko a little out of position, managing to clean that up. Idol playing Bella right now. I'm very, very interested to see how this is going to go. I don't think anyone's played Bella tonight thus far.
Yeah, you know, we didn't talk about Idol playing Bella. I mean, I completely missed it, but that is a surprising champion to see. It is not common to see snipers in solo. Again, we were talking about it when we saw Selkie. We're talking about it now when we see Bella. You don't expect people to be playing these glass cannon champions, but they are adding a little bit of tankiness to their build, it would appear.
Yes, indeed. It is very rare to see, you know, snipers in general or ADCs, depending on which game you are referring to. But man, have we been seeing some shocking changes for the meta. Like, again, we are witnessing all types of shifts in the meta live. It's crazy.
And people aren't just going to pull out things for the hell of it. You know, there is money on the line. There are diamonds on the line. People are playing to win, and they're not going to pick a marksman if they don't think they can do something with it. So we are seeing a meta shift.
Absolutely. Marst and Zasha are actually fighting for this supply crate as neither one wants to give it up. It's going to come down to whoever makes the full move to engage in a fight. But however, Alan getting caught up by Seiwori, but he does drop the ultimate, but Seiwori remains calm and slaps him for it.
Yeah, Seiwori's sitting really, really low on health. They're healing up now, and it appears that there's nobody near them, so they should be fine. But, you know, your E only goes so far as Amelia. It's a great shield. It gives you some health, but it's not the same kind of sustain as you can expect from an Eden or a Nina. No Ninas today, by the way.
Very true. As of yet, Zasha trying to take advantage of 30-day third partying, but no. Marsh still does not want to give this supply crate up. Zasha will open it, but 30 days is right there. He will likely go for the immediate chain. No, goes for the Q to cancel.
Yeah, they're all just going to be wasting each other's time around this until somebody gets a couple of kills. And I have a feeling it might be Zasha if they're not careful.
Very true. Marsh actually fully engaging on the 30-day, as 30-day is not been, you know, in the below top 10, I believe. Like, he's always been in top 5.
Yeah, 30-day has really been doing great this game.
Absolutely. A range running away. Bike kicker, however, managing to clean up Idol on the Bella off screen. I'm not sure how a range was low health, but it might actually have been due to bike kicker.
Yeah, again, Leo has a shield, and that shield cannot be ignored. We talk a lot about deceptive tanks, and Leo really is one of them. He can seem low health, and then the shield comes out, and all of a sudden, you got to fight through that too.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. I do believe during the skirmish of Marsh and 30 days, Zasha may have been able to snag that supply crate while they were distracted. So he could potentially be trying to farm up a legendary item as we speak.
Again, it's moments like this I wish we could just pop open their inventory, because I would love to see what Zasha has in store in terms of items, because like you said, it's likely that he can build a legendary at this point. We just can't tell which one.
That is very true. Oh, Bike Kicker. Catching a range here. He might be looking to kill. They both have ultimate volatile bomb out of a range to try to get a little bit of distance, but a range is just getting completely thwopped right now from all of Bike's kit. Stun trap trying to come down, but it's not enough. Double up with the ultimate on the range. This is a full combo. Force the TP over the wall, but Bike Kicker says, no, I'm right here with you, baby. Tries to go for the Cobra Poison BM. Not gonna land it, but will clean it up with the Q.
Well, Bike Kicker just turned him into a bike there for sure, and he kicked him right over.
Oh, that is absolutely devastating to see. 30 Day trying to follow up a Bike Kicker, but oh my goodness, Bike Kicker really showing Leo's potential to stay on people and not take too much damage. Does get one hit from the Q onto 30 Day's E, but they decide to back it off. Regroup.
30 Day, again, showing how great that Violet disengages. Bike Kicker had no idea where he went, and he was able to slip right out of that fight in a way that very few other champions would have been able to.
I'm telling you, that E on Violet is extremely strong, and we are again seeing all of its capacity here tonight. Tactical now in 30 Days sights, trying to go in for a little bit of harass, trying to get Tactical to burn his cooldowns before he re-engages. However, they will be able to back off and heal up.
Bike Kicker not letting Volpe get away so easy on Volpe's Audrey. Nice to see an Audrey. We actually haven't seen too many of them yet either.
Very true. Shout out Super Future for really putting in the work with Audrey. But Bike Kicker able to read Volpe's move here. It looks like he may not have intentionally followed Volpe here, but he will find him now. Volatile Bomb out of Volpe. He may run right into Quippy.
Oh, man. Oh, the third party waiting to happen from Quickie. Bike Kicker and Quippy trying to go in on Volpe, but then they get confused and they start fighting each other.
That is absolutely unfortunate. Marsh, however, getting Zasha below 10% HP. Will he get the kill here? Saywori trying to go for the third party. Zasha does drop. 30 Day has to be careful. He is sitting below 25% HP himself. Will he be able to escape? ZB, I think he is aware that he is down here. Potentially might go for the Ya Yeet Spear, but no. Let's 30 Day escape and heal up. Rocket Arms, however, catching Bike a little low health. But he has to be careful. Bike does have ultimate. The regeneration totem comes down. Full combo from Bike Kicker on the Rocket. He is trying to burn everything in his kit to get him down and dead. Quippy looking for a possible third party.
Just like that, Zasha losing so much progress when it comes to his placement. It's starting to look more and more difficult for him to secure that first place spot, and it looks like ZB could potentially just run away with it right here.
Very true. Sandro actually taking Marshall off screen, managing to get him with the CC lock and following it up with the poison potion, but ZB, holy God! Getting slapped for 50% immediately, but will be able to back off and heal. However, Sandro turns his attention on the ego, and just like that, ZB manages to somehow survive and is back in it.
He gained so much health right there, and Saywori is not ready to fight this ZB. Saywori was hanging out like that was going to be easy, but now ZB is fully up, ready to fight.
Big spear!
Yeah, throwing spears through buildings. ZB is just crazy to watch.
His awareness right now is absolutely insane. Getting every tick of food that he possibly can to stay healthy with mana. We are about to see a very crazy zone. 8 people still alive. Quippy getting into a little exchange here with 30 Day. Little back and forth. They are doing about the same amount of damage to each other. Saywori, oh no, this is very bad. Getting focused by not 1, not 2, but actually 3 individuals might be forced to volatile bomb. Huge spear from ZB. He goes in to try to take the kill. Will be able to get that. Popping the volatile bomb to knock Saywori into the zone and getting credit for that kill. Big brain.
I see people focusing on such strange players. You know, you see Amelia, you don't expect people to be focusing them down, but a huge fight happening now in Ruins.
Absolutely. 30 Day dropping below 10% HP, forced the TP out. Quippy is right on top of him. Nice mana crystal, but it's not going to be enough. He likely will drop due to the zone. No, Rocket will be able to pick up that kill. Huge exchange here from everyone else left in the lobby. Quippy dropping to about half HP. Rocket trying to go off to the west side to get a potion off. Quippy says no. Bike Kicker up top with a tactical. He will be able to escape somewhat. Quippy will be able to drop Oh boy, tactical, getting extremely low, getting focused by ZB, but oh baby! By Kicker swiping that kill away from ZB, trying to take away as many points as possible from ZB. We are now in a 4-man situation in this last zone.
ZB is cleaning up all of these kills, so many third parties, and you wonder why people aren't focusing him down. ZB is going to run away with this if the rest of the players aren't careful.
Very true. However, do not sleep on Bite Kicker's ability to play Leo as well as Chow. Chow does do a lot of damage if you allow him to, but this is not looking good for Quippy as he is the full focus of all 3 members. Bite Kicker now getting pieced up from ZB. ZB trying to keep his distance so he can do as much damage as possible with the spears. Nice juke back from Bite Kicker. Quippy trying to come in for the third party on Bite Kicker. Quippy jumping over the wall back to Sandro's side. Sandro will be able to collapse on this. Actually decides to go towards Bite Kicker first as he's deemed him a bigger threat. But honestly, as you said, ZB should be the biggest threat here as he is popping off still.
I know all these kills getting funneled to ZB. It makes you wonder if every player is trying to help ZB win or what's going on. There's just no focus on the big threat that is ZB here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the play is. I think this might be preset jitters. Volatile bomb from Sandro on the ZB, but it's not going to be enough to get him into the zone. Bite Kicker will be able to take advantage of this little moment to heal. Zone is now shifting southwest. Bite Kicker still getting tick heals as Sandro has now deemed that ZB is a threat. Nice combo from Sandro on the ZB. This is looking real tight for ZB. He will be able to drop food, but no, both of them say no. They understand that ZB is a big threat and they do not want him to win. They both inadvertently team to get him down, and now will focus each other instead.
See, that is exactly what these players should be doing. ZB is not the kind of person you want to be 1v1ing at the end. Bite Kicker and Sandra had no choice other than to team up on him there. Completely legal, not against the rules at all. ZB is not somebody to leave alive.
Absolutely. Bite Kicker is now in a very fantastic position to possibly take this game. Sandro, nice stun trap to try to get the pot off, but no. Bite Kicker will not do it with the ult follow-up. Bite Kicker is looking like he will take this game. Beautiful stun trap to follow up that, and that should be easy pickings.
Great Leo gameplay from Bite Kicker. Are you surprised? Is this exactly what you expected? I mean, I'm so happy to see someone like Bite Kicker, a pretty big member of the community, coming out with at least one first place.
I definitely agree. Bite Kicker is a fan favorite to most in this community. 6 kills and 29,000 damage. However, take a look at ZB. Still managing to get 7 kills that game. That may not be as much as he would have gotten had he have gotten first place, but still making himself relevant for popping off for most of the game.
Yeah, you know, only so much stock can be placed in the actual placing, and you do need to get kills if you want to be winning this tournament. But there is at least a section of me and my heart that just really respects the person who comes in number 1, because whenever I play Nina, it's never about getting all the kills to me. It's always about getting that victory, being the last one standing, and so a lot of respect to Bite Kicker, you know, whether he got maximum points there or not.
Absolutely agree. That was a phenomenal representation of how strong Leo can be late game. I, again, am very, very surprised that more people did not focus ZB earlier on. I almost feel, and this is just a possibility, I almost feel that people do not fully respect Steppen.
They must not. I mean, there's really no other way to put it, right? I mean, you're leaving one of the strongest players on this champion that they've proven they can win with, and you know, win or not, ZB racked up a ton of points that round, and I have a feeling might have been the highest scorer, regardless of not getting first place.
Yeah, I do believe ZB is definitely up there, but man, talk about consistency. That's what it's going to be all about. It's about the consistency. There are so many things that could go wrong, but as long as you're consistent with your placements, your engages, your kills, your rotations, you should be able to be relevant regardless if you're eliminated early.
Yeah, because again, like we've said time and time again, we want to make sure that people aren't just hiding in bushes. We want people to be incentivized to fight. And so you get points for getting kills. Unfortunately, for most of the lobby, so many kills seemed like they were just getting funneled to ZB. You know, ZB so good about just understanding, okay, where is my max range spear? and where can I throw that to really just secure this kill. And to him, it might be securing. To the rest of the lobby, it's definitely stealing. Hurts so much to see CB do that, but then at the same time, it's just sometimes the better player comes out on top.
Very true. We've actually seen quite a bit of KSing, which again is to be expected, but this was precisely what I was referring to. Not only will you have to remain consistent with just your abilities that you're naturally bringing to the table, but kill securing is extremely important. Being able to make sure that people are not running away from you, because there is that possibility that someone is right around the corner to poach that kill.
Yeah, and you got to think about every single fight that you're taking. You have to think about where it's going to put you in terms of your build path. You have to think about where it's going to put your enemy in terms of their build path. And then you just need to think about, okay, am I even going to get this point, or am I just handing it to ZB? Because now, if this lobby does not focus on getting ZB out early, I think that he's going to have the game.
Very true. Very interesting stuff. I'm glad to see that, you know, we're seeing slight meta shifts. We're seeing champions be brought out like Bella. It's still a possibility. Like, you don't have to pick these champions that tend to be out on top to be on top. It's just, you know, a little bit of RNG factor, if you will. With that being said, let's go ahead and get ready to be prepared for Game 4.
Yeah, now Game 4 is where this all culminates. You know, this isn't a normal tournament where people are going in with, you know, imperfect information, not knowing their opponents. People know their opponents. People know what their opponents like to do. They know what their opponents like to play. So now we're really going to see, I think, certain players who are ranked highly in this tournament targeted early just to try to like bolster other people's ranks, you know. It might be an even bigger problem for people in the middle of the pack. I wouldn't be surprised if the meta starts leaning towards people really just going for eliminations almost more than kills. There are a few people who are set up points wise where simply hindering other players' games will naturally make their winnings greater and easier. I couldn't name anyone off the top of my head, but if somebody gets like Zasha out early in this match, you're talking about 3 or 4 different players who are going to shift up just because Zasha is going to be prevented from scoring more points. So I think that that's something we're going to have to keep an eye out on. Looker, ZB, Zasha having huge targets on their back just to prevent them from getting any more points.
You are absolutely correct, Glorified. You make a very good point. This game is, we're going to see something in this game that we haven't seen in the last 3, and I'm going to explain to you why. Just what you said, the backpack off of it. People are likely going to possibly int for the top players that they know are in the top 3. They would much rather get them out of here and potentially risk getting eliminated early for the potential of eliminating them completely and possibly taking their spot in the placement.
Because again, like we aren't just playing Royal Crown. We're playing in a tournament that has a design that's grander than each individual game itself. So these players are not dumb. These are very smart people who are not just in this to play an amazing MOBA BR. They're also in this to win money and win diamonds. So if it comes down to taking out Zasha, ZB, Illiker, Marsht early, even risking their own game, I think it could happen, because it's not always about winning in these tournaments. Sometimes it's about preventing others.
Absolutely. Preventing others is going to be extremely important in any tournament setting. Obviously, there can only be so many winners, right? But with that being said, even though we could potentially see, you know, a large aggression for these people that are clearly at the top of the boards right now, they're very comfortable with aggression. They are not scared to take early fights. They are not scared to fight people with no items. And it's just going to come down to who is just mechanically better.
And Zasha is very, very comfortable and very confident on Korik. I have some insider information that if he couldn't pigeonhole himself into a victory, he was going to continue playing Korik throughout. So I think we can expect another Korik from Zasha, but he does not care that the lobby is going to be gunning for him, because newsflash, the lobbies are always gunning for him. People do not like when Zasha is in their games, and they will try to get him out. So not only is Zasha a great player under normal circumstances. He is also great at avoiding ganks. We haven't seen it to its fullest extent here. He's been, 2-man, 3-manned a couple times and taken down, unfortunately. But I think that Zasha is going to be really going like turbo mode this time, because he knows that he has a lot to lose if he doesn't perform really well with another 18, 17-point game.
Yes, Glorified. He will likely be under the pressure, but like I said, these top tier players, they are comfortable being under pressure. Now, let's take a brief moment to talk about Bite Kicker and his Leo plays last game. Wow. Literally utilizing his kit very effectively. It didn't matter what person he was fighting, he still managed to come out on top.
Something a lot of Leos don't take into account, like early player Leos, since Leo is one of the first characters that you ever get to play, is his E has so much shutdown potential when it comes to people trying to mount up or pot up, getting out of a fight, or extending a fight. As Leo, you get to interrupt so much of what your opponent is trying to do just with your E. And unlike things like Violet's W getting blocked by a Feast, instead of getting blocked, the Feast will actually make Leo's E do more damage if you bounce it off of it.
Right.
So, using that E is really how Bite Kicker was able to get such great results out of his Leo pick.
Yes, Leo is not to be slept on, as I'm sure many people are aware. These types of characters that, ideally anyone can jump on, but also have the capacity to burst people if you let them do so. Leo, again, his Q is percent health damage. It is not to be slept on. Once you get max cooldown with 50%, you essentially can spam it like every 2.5 seconds. It is devastating damage. So I'm very curious to see if anyone else will actually decide to hop on the Leo border.
Also, one thing that I've said before, and I'll say it once more, a max CDR Leo is going to give a max CDR Violet a ton of trouble, because again, just like you say, that Q so powerful, the E as well, the dash. Leo is a bruiser version of Violet, which in solos just is so much better in my opinion, because Violet, so glass cannon, so little sustain. Of course, Marsh has shown us that it will work, it can work, but Leo, such a pick that more people should be doing. And again, final game, I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more Leos.
I agree. I'm honestly looking forward to whether or not people are going to be jumping on more familiar champions, but there is still the possibility that people will start pulling things out that we may not have seen. You did make a comment, Glorified, last game that no one has played Nina yet. Do you think we're going to see a Nina tonight?
I wish I could say I thought there was going to be a Nina next game, but I really don't, because this tournament is so much about kills that I don't think we're going to see a Nina. She doesn't have enough kill potential early on. All of her damage comes from final zone and zoning your enemies into that final zone. Now, top 5 does offer a lot of points. It's possible that somebody like Marsh, although I doubt it, would pick up a Nina just to secure their final position in the top 5, because Nina is great at making it to the final circle. So much peel potential, so much CC, so much sustain. She really is a perfect champion when it comes to getting into the final 3, final 2. Unfortunately, final 2 and 3 don't matter as much as kills do. So I don't think any of this sort of level of player is going to sort of stoop down to running away all game, because ultimately that's what you do as Nina. You run away, and while that is viable, it's not how you're going to win those diamonds here. What do you think?
I personally believe that, yes, you are absolutely correct. The kills are going to inevitably matter, more so than placements, as they are additional points. And especially with this last final game, you're going to want to get as much as you can, or more bang for your buck, if you will. However, we also have to give the fact that even if Nina manages to survive to the last zone, there's guaranteed to be roughly 8 to 10, maybe even more people in that last zone. It is not that difficult to knock someone back with the pan, use the E for the knockup, volatile bomb them back into the zone, and so long as you were the last person to hit them, if they die from the zone, you will get the kill credit for that. So we could potentially see a Nina game tonight.
The mechanics that come around playing an effective Nina are simple and complex at the same time. It's not so mechanically complex with the abilities as it is with the consumables. You need to be on top of your consumables game as Nina, and it just seems a little bit too risky for players to be going with that kind of playstyle here. And as we sort of guessed, it's looking like nobody is going to be picking a Nina. Although, again, I really wish somebody would, because, boy, that would be interesting to watch, see how they deal with the early game, mid game, and then just watch them pop off for that final circle. 5 Kaibas, it's starting to look like. Not confirmed yet. That would be the biggest mirror that we got all tournament. I'm interested to see if we get more lock-ins of this Kaiba.
I definitely agree with you. Glorified 5 Kaiba lock-in indeed. Kizuko actually hovering a little bit. I think he might be possibly... No, there it is. The 5 Kaiba lock-in. This is going to be absolutely crazy. And take a look at this. Where the boat is actually going, it is split directly down the middle. This is a good boat for anyone. So this could be very, very interesting. Usually, if the boat is on too far on one side, you inevitably would be a little sad because you can't get to where you want to normally land. But this is perfect for everyone. This could be the hypest game that we have seen because anyone can land anywhere that they want and still be relevant.
And while you are right, this is a pretty good boat for most champions, or, you know, an all-around good boat. You do have a ways to go before you get to some of the common mage items. So I have a feeling that we're going to see mages at a bit of a disadvantage early, just because they're going to have to wait a little bit longer if they want to go down to the coral area, which is, by my understanding, typically where you go as a mage.
Definitely agree. Assuming that you are building either the life sap wand or the ether staff, both of which you will find down by Conch or Rainbow. And like you already said, they could potentially be at a disadvantage. However, they could opt to land in Winery and teleport down on the southern side of the continent.
That's true. Winery is a great place to start. I started in a lot of my builds, and it just has a little bit for everybody, it seems.
Yes, indeed. Hydrocide actually getting pieced up here by Volpe and Sewori. This is not looking too good for him. He's actually forced to TP out. Volpe may try to chase this down. Hydrocide might be forced out of this area entirely.
It's so hard coming back after you've been zoned out of an initial loot spot, because something that we didn't cover exactly is the importance of looting a town first. Sure, you can start off by getting your cards in one of the paper locations like the river or like Fairy's Lake or like the Oases, but if you get your cards first and you can't make it to a town without getting zoned out, you're gonna have a hard time building your main items and your build. You'll be fine on consumables, but it's gonna be difficult getting your armor, getting your weapon, and that's really the meat and potatoes of who you are as a champion.
Absolutely. Hydrocide is actually still struggling. He actually was forced out of Freya a second time. Did manage to pick up a few pieces of wheat to make some baguettes. But as you already mentioned, you know, landing in towns are, you know, in most cases extremely important to get your gear or some sort of gear advantage over your surrounding competitors. But Hydrocide is still sitting on nothing.
Yeah, and so again, you know, you can build green tier items in most towns. There are some items that can even be upgraded to blue tier without leaving a town. Once you want to get to purples, though, that's really when you want to be going out into the wilderness, farming camps and mobs. But before that, you need to be hitting at least 2 towns. I don't know of any build that goes to fewer than 2 towns.
Very true. A range actually, unfortunately, getting caught out by Sea Monster early on. This was what we honestly anticipated. The Kaiba is extremely strong right now, and Sea Monster is not afraid to show that. Sea Monster getting into an exchange with Bike as well for the follow-up. Double down on the Leo. Going for the little bit of disrespect loot right in Bike's face, but it likely was to try to bait him close to the wall to get a stun. Blanky, however, in a very tough spot with the Kaiba as well. Eyelooker trying to lock this kill down. Blanky will be able to lay some damage down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Eyelooker will be able to get the volatile bomb for the Q. for the kill secure there. Unfortunate.
A lot of fights going on right now. We have Andy and Sheeny Gaming also going at it, trading off in the conch area, and it's not looking like they really want to extend this fight anymore. Sheeny actually let Andy mount up and get away, so that skirmish seems as it's come to an end. Sea Monster, however.
Very true. I do believe Shinny was essentially just trying to charge ultimate. He is roughly 50% on ult, and probably was looking for more, but it's not something to fully exchange in for. However, fully exchanging, Soup and Altair. Altair actually opting to run away here. Does have relatively blue pieces of equipment. No cards and no accessory yet, however.
And ultimates work a little bit differently in this game. You can charge it up by fighting. You don't need to level it like a normal ability.
Indeed. Soup getting caught out by Sarum on Steppen. He will be in spear range. Soup trying to throw the Q for the slow. Will not land the charm. Sarum is now up in his face, and now this is very bad for Soup.
So this is another one of those situations where would Sarum have really chosen Steppen if it wasn't for ZB? And there you go. Sarum getting paid for his pick, taking down the Sasha there with ease. Sarum learning why ZB likes Steppen so much damage mid-game.
Very true. Bike Kicker is on the full sprint away from Sea Monster. They are literally getting chased through the entirety of the Rune Temple. Bike not able to mount up here. Will be able to dismount Monster and dash away. But I think Sea Monster will chase him to the end of the continent. Bike getting clipped by the wolf for unnecessary damage.
Now Sea Monster is going to have to navigate his way through wolves without getting dismounted. Although, no, he gives up the chase. He's not interested anymore.
I think that was a waste of time, honestly. If you were going to let that kill get away, you got to be, quicker than that. He lost a lot of time there.
Popping his ultimate, getting punished for chasing. Bike Kicker, I have a feeling, is going to come out of this on top of him.
Yeah, he now has he has ult advantage. Unfortunately, missing the E there. He will be punished for it. Bike Kicker has to be careful. Nice TP from Sea Monster to stay right on top of it. Big Q coming out on the Bike. He will be able to turn this around.
Oh my! Bike Kicker, no!
Bike Kicker, unfortunately, not respecting Kaiba's burst ability. Sea Monster baited the Q and was able to turn it around with the passive shield for the kill.
Oh, Bike Kicker, he felt so close. I was so sure he was going to win that exchange, but I just don't understand Kaiba enough to be making these sort of mental assumptions because, man, his burst potential, I hardly even understand.
I actually commented earlier in the fight. Bike Kicker missed an easy E followed up from the ultimate. That little bit of damage would have likely secured that kill. When he TP'd forward, he did not immediately dash to try to catch Kaiba from getting set up, and just because of that, he lost that fight. Marsh cleaning up Dread in the process.
Oh, Dread. Again, things like that you don't like to see, but Marsh on Kaiba, that's a tough one to go against, especially as an assassin. Kaibas are great against assassins.
I definitely agree. Sandro actually catching Zasha in a little bit of a pickle here. Down by the Kobold area. Zasha forced to pop ultimate. Sandro also does pop ultimate as well. Big poison potion. I'm not sure who threw it. Oh, bad volatile bomb from Sandro. Now he is in a very tough spot. He's sitting at 1 HP. This is a free kill for Zasha if he catches up.
It's free. He has teleport powder. Yep. It should have been
Oh,
free. Yeah,
no! Unfortunately for Sandro, he throws the poison potion to get a little bit of gap between him and or possibly getting Zasha low enough to kill, but he manages to poison potion himself, thus giving the kill to Zasha.
This is another misplay situation. I don't know if you caught it, but Sandro missed a hook. And one thing about Chow Hook is that it can pull you if you hit terrain with it. Very similar to a Violet W. So if he had hit his escape, he might have been able to get away from Zasha there, but unfortunately he was forced to pop his TP powder too early, giving Zasha the easy free kill.
Very true. He can indeed pull himself with E, but I do believe he may have accidentally E'd, or there might have been a little bit of miscommunication in his own brain whether or not the E was going to land on the environment surrounding him. But either way, GG's. Alan getting chased down by Kizuko. Now we are having a Kaiba off here in the River of Life. Who will get the first pin into the wall? It actually will not be Alan. Kizuko will be able to turn it around. Wow! Showing him who the better Kaiba is.
Kaiba versus Kybers are some of the most stressful fights because it's so difficult to tell which one's going to come out on top. The burst is so crazy. The CC is so relevant.
Indeed, another Kaiba play coming in from Sea Monster here, running Silly down. Silly will be able to hop over the wall. They should be able to mount up and be fine. Hydroside, however, on the opposite side of the continent, getting completely bursted down by Mars. Oh my god, Kaiba's all around.
Just when we thought Eden was a huge part of the meta, Kaiba coming back to show you what happens if you get caught out as Eden mid-game. It is not pretty.
Very true. Marst showing us the capacity of Kaiba CC lockdown, managing to fully CC Shinny Gaming for roughly 3.5 seconds, and now following that up. Shinny did burn ultimate earlier. ZB popping off on Volpe off screen. Marst is on top of Shinny. This is looking very rough for him. He cannot get away from this. He has to turn and fight, or that's it. That E secured his fate.
People need to really start focusing on ZB. I don't know for certain, but if he is not taken down soon, he might have this game in the bag, this entire tournament for that matter.
I definitely agree. ZB is a force to be reckoned with. He is not fully set up on his items. However, it does not take much for him to do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. On the flip side of things, Sasha able to comfortably farm up the Kobold area. Actually about to be level 13 here. I do believe he is the highest level in the lobby currently. And that could potentially set him up to also be in a very good position to take this final game.
And even if Zasha takes this final game, he's been knocked out pretty early, 2 out of these 4 games. I don't think without some serious intervention onto ZB that Zasha is going to be able to take first place. I may be wrong. He is one of the highest scorers in the tournament so far.
Indeed, he is. This last game, we have already been seeing slight meta shifts. The Kaibas, however, 4 out of the 5 that were in this lobby are still alive. We could potentially see an insane last game if it is enclosed near environment.
That's the thing about Kaiba. You can have such a hit or miss final circle because if you don't have environment, if you don't have terrain, or if you don't have consumable walls, you are going to have a hard time landing your combos and you're going to have a hard time doing any damage.
Definitely agree on that as well. Now, the man I would want to watch out for is Kizuko. Now, I say that because Kizuko has not actually been given the total opportunity to show his stuff, but he also is OG, and I know that he is just as good as Marsh, Eyelooker, as well as Sea Monster. So I'm very curious to see if he can really show himself tonight.
We've seen some great plays from Kizuko so far, but yeah, he has been underperforming compared to the hype that you just gave him. I have a feeling and a hope that this game that will change and we can see what he can pull for us on this Kaiba. He's floating around on a cloud right now. I'm interested to see what else he has under his sleeve.
Indeed, Eyelooker finding Idol here a little out of position. Oh my god, but the crits from Chef is just too much. Eyelooker does get a beautiful combo following up with the ultimate. Oh my god, double KO!
Trade! No, you never ever want to be trading in these situations. It is not worth it, especially this early. Oh, they threw away those rankings.
That is unfortunate indeed. Big damage from Chef, though, however, not to be slept on. ZB now getting into an exchange here with Quippy. Quippy has to be careful. ZB is not someone you want to take these exchanges with long term. ZB on the prowl.
Quippy trying to get away. He's showing his weakness, and ZB smells it like a dog. Going in for the kill here. I think he is going to get it, landing an amazing spear there. Using a volatile bomb poorly. Quippy not doing enough to get away, though. Quippy does ultimately go down. ZB getting closer and closer to winning this entire tournament. I really think he's going to do it. All my money would be on ZB right now.
I wouldn't doubt that indeed. Zasha catching Marsh out of position a little bit. Marsh doing everything he can to try to get away, but this was what I was afraid of. Zasha has taken all the time in the world to get set up, but no, he actually allows Marsh to get away, heal up a little bit, and possibly may look to re-engage. To go back to ZB and that play on Quippy, he played that perfectly, landing the spears that were necessary, utilizing his utility to stay within range, and actually secured that kill. But to go back even further, the Chef damage is insane. He bursted that Kaiba down so quick, but we finally were able to see the very first double KO in our Royals League. Absolutely insane trading tonight.
Yeah, and those trades, until you get to the top 5, securing that 1 kill is nothing compared to making it into the top 5, because that's 7 points compared to what I assume is a very marginal number of points once you're beyond 5th place or 7th place. So you never want to be trading that early, and of course it wasn't their intention, but nothing you can do about it now.
Very unfortunate indeed, but yes, the placement differences are going to be astronomical at this point, as now we are within the top 10. This is where people are going to start playing potentially more passive, as they do not want to lose these last crucial points.
That's true. Again, every kill counts, but at a certain point, it makes more sense to save your consumables, save your energy, to make sure that you can make it to the final 5 or more. ZB getting into an altercation right now with Silly, now trying to disengage.
This is exactly what ZB loves to do as step-in. I've seen him do it on Alicia as well. He loves to play like he's in trouble and then swiftly turning it around, but Silly has to be careful here as Kizuko has now found him below half health and wants this kill.
Like you said, Kizuko has a lot to prove, so he's bringing his Kaiba out to Silly as if he really, really needs this kill. Unfortunately, Silly's able to make it over a wall, putting Kizuko at a terrible disadvantage. Sea Monster might clean that kill up for Kizuko, exactly what you don't want to see.
Absolutely, he loses one Kaiba and possibly loses the second one. Does Sea Monster read this play? No! Oh no, Silly, I think you had him made. Silly trying to utilize the invisibility potion. ZB able to swipe that kill away from Sea Monster, and he burned ultimate for that. What a swipe from ZB! Kizuko now getting into an exchange here with Sea Monster. I do apologize for cutting you off. Oh my god, Kizuko, that's exactly what I was talking about. Kizuko not out of this game yet, showing Sea Monster that he is not the only one that can play Kaiba. But man, oh man, the big upset from Sea Monster, burning ultimate to try to lock that kill down, and ZB comes and swipes it away.
Marsh looking at getting Kizuko as well. Another little Kaiba versus Kaiba.
Big volatile bomb from Kizuko to try to get away from this. Marsh will read it. Nice cutback from Kizuko to dodge that E. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Oh, wait a minute. This could be the fake volatile bomb. Nice move by Kizuko. Now, this is exactly what he needs. He may have enough time. No! Marsh will get the pass reset. Has to be careful. Period out of that stun on the wall. Another volatile bomb coming out. Nice separation from Kizuko. Kizuko is playing out of his mind right now.
That peel from Kizuko. He's not out of the gate yet, but now he might be. What an amazing show of escape. I couldn't believe Kizuko getting away from that, but Marsh now sniffing him out. Is he going to be able to get away a second time? I do not know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The comes off. Kizuko gets brought down by Seiwori and Marsh. It's a third-party situation. Oh, man. Marsh gets him. Or
Seiwori actually managed to swipe that kill away from Marsh. Marsh is unhappy with that as he worked so hard for that kill, and Seiwori managing to time the squirrel and the root on Kizuko, but that is extremely unfortunate. But man, good moves from Kizuko, really cleaning it up here in this last game. Zasha, however, finding Rocket, and this is where it gets interesting. The zone is now closing. Everyone is relatively close to one another. It's about to get insane.
A lot of legendaries on the field right now. A lot of crazy plays. Zasha getting stunned against a wall now.
It's not really doing too much to him, as it only did roughly 5% damage. Marsh, nice cancel on the volatile bomb, utilizing it for himself. Andy getting a kill of his own. I'm sorry, I missed who that was on, but it looked like he completely popped whoever that was.
I know, Rook in the final 6 looking pretty good. Yeah,
this is very devastating. Rook ultimates do a lot of damage in a very tight zone. ZB trying to fight Rocket here. He has to be careful. Rocket is still very in a very good position, as ZB is well aware of Alicia's burst potential. Andy does not care, however, trying to fight Rocket right here. Popping a solo. Oh, I don't know if that was the play. He's literally burning everything to try to keep up with Rocket. Now Rocket has ultimate of his own. He could potentially turn us around, and he does! Oh, big play from Rocket.
Alicia is so good at dueling, no matter how good you are with Rook, with Siyu, with Kaiba. Alicia is so good at 1v1 dueling.
Absolutely, Rocket played that perfectly, utilizing Alicia's kit to its fullest capacity. Tactical, however, in a very rough spot, getting pinned between of Kaiba and Zasha. Tactical likely going to drop here. Big volatile bomb on somebody, knocking Zasha back into the zone. This is very bad for Zasha now. He is taking so much damage. Rocket is popping off. Oh my god. managing to swipe.
Blast there is exactly what he needed to do. It took down Zasha, almost took down Marsh as well. What an amazing play from Rocket.
This is absolutely, I did not expect this at all. Rocket has turned on the gear. I want to be relevant. He managed to swipe that kill onto Zasha and almost killed Marsh in a process. Now he's giving ZB a little run for his money on his own main. This is going to be an insane last zone. We are in a 1v1v1 situation. Rocket forced to teleport over the wall. They will be able to back off, heal up, and re-engage.
I would love to see more out of Rocket this game, but we're getting down to the final 3 now. It's hard to say if he's going to be able to make it. ZB is so strong. Marsh is so good. What is Rocket going to do? He's a... how much do you know him? He's a relatively new player by my understanding. I might be wrong about that.
Rocket is indeed a newer player, but he has done a lot of what he can to practice and be relevant in these tournaments, and he is giving these OGs a run for their money, playing the position appropriately, trying to go for a volatile bomb play on ZB. He understands that ZB is the bigger target. He is allowing Marsh to do what he can to try to lock ZB. Nice stun from Marsh on a ZB. He will drop. Rocket is in a great position to knock Marsh back into the zone, managing to do so. Rocket is in a very fantastic way to possibly take this game.
It's gonna take it.
On top of Marsh, he has to be careful though. Marsh does have the ability to stun him into the wall and completely burst him down. He has to be very careful. Do not get overzealous and get next to a wall. No, that's not what you want to do. Marsh trying to go and turn this around. Rocket turning it around himself. Double stun coming from both, and Marsh swipes it away.
Oh my, Marsh, the complete bait. He baited him with that food for the wall stun, then the trap. My God, Marsh, what a final circle. Holy cow.
6 kills, 29,000 damage from Marsh in that game. Very well played. But Rocket trying to do what he can in that last zone. Almost managed to take that game away from not just ZB or Zasha, but also Marsh. Unfortunately for him, he decided to dip topside, allowing Marsh to get a free stun, thus giving away a free kill.
That was completely intentional too. I was wondering what on earth Marsh was doing eating there. He was like on his deathbed, his last legs, and it was all to bait Alicia into that wall stun. What an amazing play. Then the snare for the Alicia dash. He dashed right into the snare. I don't know if you caught that. All so perfectly timed by Marsh. I should never have doubted him. Man. What a game.
Absolutely insane stuff coming out of Marsh tonight. As you mentioned, he threw the stun trap down early, and I believe he threw the food on top of the stun trap, thus securing its invisible status. And just like I said, I hope that Rocket does not go on the northern side near environments, as that is exactly where Kaiba wants to get you, pin you into the wall, and lock you down in a full combo. But overall, GG's. This has been an insane tournament. Turnout tonight.
Yeah, so exciting to see this tournament from the start, you know, develop its way up, get the player base going, and now it's finally happened. And this was only solos. So much excitement for people working just on their own. Now imagine teams with coordination working together to fight, you know, 9 other teams potentially. That's what I'm really excited about. And we just saw today just how crazy the mechanics of this game can get. Now imagine what's going to happen when the macro game really has its focus for squads. So exciting. I mean, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, this has been a very exciting night indeed. This is exactly what you should expect for squad play, if not even more, because not 1, not 2, but 3 people on a team means all types of potential metas. But we're going to see
more chefs. We're going to see more Selkies. We're
Absolutely.
Gonna see more champions that you didn't see today.
Yes.
And man, so exciting. All of this. So great. Thank you so much for having me on here.
This is, again, thank you, Glorified Ward, for joining me on the casting. This has been quite the experience to be able to cast this event, and I do hope that everyone enjoyed being a part of the tournament, as well as all the viewers. I do appreciate you guys tuning in before we head out. I do want to, you know, on a personal level, it's your boy, it's me. It's no longer Caster Spook, okay? This really means a lot. Like, we've worked very hard to allow this to happen, right? Like, we all came together collectively as a community, not just NA, but, you know, RC, right? And what we're trying to build here, this is it, right? Like, if you enjoy what we're doing here, do not hesitate to sign your teams up. Do not hesitate to tell your friends about this game. It will only get better from here, right? And so long as we come together collectively and stay and remain diligent, and we won't know where the cap will ever be, right? This could be the next thing, okay? So that's on a more personal note. Glorified, go ahead.
But Spoog, come on, we gotta know who won. When's that coming to us?
I'm not gonna log out without announcing that. I'm giving Super enough time to give us that information. Yes, we will indeed. We will indeed announce that. For that, I will play a very special song for you. We will be announcing winners. We just got to allow a little bit of time for that to happen. Glorified. This has been absolutely insane tonight. Absolutely insane. We have seen all different types of champions, all different types of metas. What would your feedback be for this solo tournament?
So I think this has really opened my eyes to the fact that, yes, like solo Royal Crown is interesting. It maybe isn't always super fun in 3-man, 4-man lobbies, but when you get up to a 30-man lobby, it is non-stop action, especially from a casting perspective. Going around, seeing 3, 4 fights going on simultaneously, you can only hope that you're finding the most exciting one. So I think that from an overall perspective, this is a great game, especially for Twitch esports. So excited to see it develop more. And Royals League solo tournament #1, just the first part of that.
I definitely agree. This, again, is just a little taste of what squads is going to be like. Solos is in itself its own meta, right? It's somewhat comparable to squads, but mostly not, right? Team play is treated so different. So different, okay? And I just want to reiterate to people that whatever we saw tonight, it will 100% change for squads. So I will actually turn on some lo-fi here for a moment. We're going to take a couple minutes to allow people to calculate the points, and then we will be right back to announce at least the top 3 winners for the big prize. Stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the results of the tournament. Let's go ahead and switch it back to this menu.
Now, before we go on with this spook, have we made sure that all the calculations have been done in the background and that what we got is the truth here?
I do believe it is true. I think most of which was automatically done, and I allowed it to populate. That's why we took a brief moment to allow those calculations to come in. But quite frankly, this is looking precisely what I had in mind as we've been casting this entire tournament. So if you guys are ready, we are going to announce the winners of tonight. We will start with third place. Okay, let me play some original music to keep this hypeness going. At third place, we have the one, the only, the Mike and Ike Bike Kicker!
Wow, so good to see Bike Kicker in the top 3. What a great player and relatively new. Very, very happy to see him in the top 3.
Absolutely, Bike Kicker has been playing out of his mind tonight. Bike Kicker has been really showing and proving that Leo will always be relevant. That is something that I have been saying since day one. Do not sleep on Leo. In second place, we have someone who I have been very close with this entire time. The Korik sensation himself, Zasha!
Hey, I can't say I'm too surprised. I was pretty sure that Zasha was going to make it to the top 3, but man, nice job, Zasha, showing us what Korik can do in the professional setting.
I definitely agree. Congratulations, Zasha, for second place. Zasha has really shown the effectiveness of consistency and knowing your route to a T. But last but not least, the first place winner of tonight. Who is it? It's too easy for ZV!
Hey! ZV, again, showing us what Stepan can do. It's just so amazing to see somebody take first with a champion that we did not expect to see at all. I mean, what an upset in terms of champions, but what an amazing player. Can't say I'm surprised that he took it today. Wow, congrats, ZV.
Absolutely insane plays tonight. Oh my goodness. I do appreciate everyone that's tuned into the tournament thus far. The top 3 definitely get in contact with me, as I will be personally putting up that out-of-pocket expenses. Everyone else, stay tuned. We have to wait for Line Games to contact us, to allow them to contact you, to get you your diamonds. Again, I do want to thank the Glorified Ward for joining me on the panel tonight. It has been a very good experience. I do, again, hope you guys enjoyed your night. Glorified Ward, if you have any words, now's the time.
I just have to say, solos is one thing, and man, squads is a whole other. So, if you were into this tournament, if you liked playing it, if you liked watching it, get the game, start playing squads, and do not sleep on the Royals League Squads tournament.
You heard it here first.
Don't sleep on it.
You heard it here first, folks. Thank you again for tuning in. It's your boy, SPOO